Owerri, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Vice Chancellor, University of Benin, hereby certified that I am the returning officer for the 2025 Anambra State governorship election held on the 8th day of November 2025. I also certify that the election was contested and that the winner emerged. The candidate with the highest number of votes cast and percentage have all been computed. I therefore declare that Soludo Charles Chukwuma of the APGA, having satisfied the requirement of the law and scored the highest number of votes in this election, is hereby declared the winner and returned elected.
I know better than one bar for. Name one ready. When you look off on Anya, all your money, man. Tell one bar for one in Olugu. Then they do that within a good time. When you look off on Anya. Ebe ke no kwada tawa ni Igbo ni su ofia ka ibe nwe wa nwere rachawa aka na ife ọma mere megepunu ụza nwa mgbe afọ nwe ba nwere ọ dịghị izi to local government nekwe na mmiri grego first lady of Anambra na enwere aṅụrị nwe ba aṅụrị first lady Ogenede Charima mgbe afọ zọbi ya olurugu ọbụghị afọla na-akọ kedu aka onye wetara n'igbo ugwu bịa na-enewe egwu gọma mgbe afọ laịfụ ka ọ na-eme anyị nọ laịf and direct na-enwere aṅụrị ọ dịrị izi chaanụ n'ụzọ ka anyị vidiyo ihe ọfụma chaanụ n'ụzọ nwoke kwụọ ha n'ụzọ ọgịnị nwa mgbe ọfọ mebi ihe zọrọ ya 4+4 dịrị isi.
Hello, welcome. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni has admitted that 2 Kenyan activists who came to Uganda to participate in an opposition-led protest were arrested and held in the fridge. Museveni described the 2 men as experts in riots and acknowledged they were arrested and put in the fridge for some days. The 2 men disappeared in Uganda for 5 weeks and were only released yesterday. In Nigeria, the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, has declared Anambra State Governor Professor Charles Chukwuma Soludo the candidate of the All Progressive Grand Alliance as the winner of yesterday's governorship election conducted in the southeastern state. Even before the election results were announced, there were accusations of vote buying, underage voting, and other election malpractices. It is the first election conducted under a new INEC chairman. Governor Soludo won with 422,664 votes, defeating 15 candidates from other political parties. Soludo's vote accounts for 70.6% of the total votes cast, which came up to 598,229. Soludo's closest competitor, Mr. Nicholas Ukachukwu of the APC, gathered 99,445 votes. As a percentage of registered voters, which stood at 2,788,864, the election recorded a poor participation rate of less than 22%. With only 22% of registered voters participating in yesterday's election, which resulted in Professor Charles Soludo being elected as the governor of Anambra State. He has now 4 years to turn Anambra State into a Dubai or Taiwan, whichever one comes first. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. Thank you for joining us on 90 Minutes Africa. My co-host, Chido Onoma, is on assignment. On our show today, we have an interesting and distinguished professor. See, while the people of the state, Anambra State, hold their breath, AI is advancing with drones flying above you or mobile phone towers near you. On 90 Minutes Africa today, Professor Michael Ndinechi joins us to discuss these topical events and the impact of AI in Africa in the next 20 years. Professor Michael Ndinechi is a distinguished scholar from the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering at the University of Technology, Owerri, FUTO. Professor Ndinechi, the immediate past dean of the School of Electrical Systems, Engineering and Technology, and one-time director and CEO of the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology's Electronics Development Institute, ELDI, in Awka, brings decades of experience at the cutting edge of technology and innovation. We will explore how artificial intelligence is set to transform Africa over the next 20 years, from industry and education to governance and everyday life. Professor Ndinechi also anchors a widely followed engineering lecture series on YouTube, inspiring the next generation of African innovators. Please join me in welcoming to the show, Professor Michael Ndinechi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We've had pastors, politicians, musicians, journalists, everybody but engineers. So I'm very happy to have an engineer, professor of engineering on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we have to go. Most people don't understand that a show like this, we want to talk about all the aspects of life. It's not just about politics. I know we are heavy on politics, but we have to talk about other things that are impacting us. So, but first of all, let's look at things in the news. We had at the beginning of the program, INEC announced that Charles Soludo has won re-election as the governor of Anambra State. I know you are from Anambra State. You are instantly, you are from my hometown, Nobi. I have to say that. So you monitored what happened there yesterday. What did you hear? How was the election conducted?
Yes, from what we hear, it was peaceful. Even though there were allegations of vote buying and, like you said, poor turnout. But then there was no incident of snatching of ballot boxes, manipulation of figures. So with reasonable good conduct, well, from what we see, we can say that is free and fair.
Free and fair. Now, in terms of participation, why do you think that after 4 years, almost 4 years in office, only 22% of registered voters participated in the election?
In Nigeria, there is apathy.
Why?
people strongly feel that votes do not count. At the back of people's mind is like a result has been written somewhere, just waiting to be announced. So what is the need coming out to vote? That is the general, belief of the people. Get it? But in most cases, it is better that to come out and vote first and let your vote not count, not sitting at home and hoping that your vote will not count. And finally, the few that came out, their vote counts. So you just shortchange yourself by not coming out.
A few minutes ago, the governor came out and claimed victory. He announced that this is the greatest mandate ever given to any returning governor in the states, that he won by 70% of the votes. And in terms of participation, he claimed in his speech that this was the highest that we've seen in that state, participation in an election. I don't know his figures, it might be true that participation has always been low in Anambra State. But in general, do you think that people felt that he performed well in the last 3 and some years to give him a second mandate, or that they don't have a better choice? What was the determining factor?
Yeah, by every standard, I visit Anambra State regularly, and like the acronym says, Anambra State is a one construction site, and if you enter Anambra State, you see that that is the true position. That most of the roads that were not, very passable in the past are now, very, I wouldn't say top pike lane, but they are smooth that anywhere you want to go from one place to the other in Anambra State, you just, hit the road. Anyone you join will lead you to where you are going. So you don't have to start wondering, if I use this one, will it be true to where I'm going to? But most of the cases, you enter a road and you see another one. You will want to follow that one to see where this one is leading, because you know that it can only take probably 5 minutes difference for you to get to where you are going. So I think infrastructure-wise, done, well enough. I'm not a politician. I'm just talking based on what I see as I drive past.
Okay, so he won now, and he has another 4 years to transform Anambra State into a Dubai. That was a promise the first time he came, a Dubai or a Taiwan. How do you think that transformation has been going? Is the foundation laid? Because it said in one encounter with the media that people were expecting him to perform magic in 4 years. That you have to first of all lay the foundation and build on it. But now that he has a mandate for another 4 years, do you think at the end of the 4 years that we are going to see Anambra State as the Dubai of Africa?
If you talk of transport and road network infrastructure, yes, the foundation has been laid. But then that transformation we're talking about, goes beyond just the road network. By now, we're supposed to have seen foundations for, industrialization, being put in place. And, those things that will enable people to go into production, small scale entrepreneurship, because that is what grows the economy. People must be productive. So we are expecting to have seen the foundation of such, economic development, because people must have products that they will take to the market to make the economy of the place, good. And of course, the security has to be there. People have to be free to move around and do their business without any kind of fear. So we need to see those things, the condition put in place to enable the people to, start things that will transform the place to probably Dubai or China. But if the enabling condition is not there, you get it? If it is only the roads, then insecurity may make people not even to use the road.
You're talking about roads, but in Anambra State, for instance, since P2B, or even, since P2B, Ngige, actually, since Ngige came into office, we've not had, roads have not been the main problems, major problem in Anambra State. The roads have been fairly good compared to other states. So this attempts that people always, when we talk about Anambra, people go to roads. We've had good roads in Anambra State, not the best in the world, but at least compared to other places. So what do you think is other than roads, what else did he do in the last 3 years that will give us the hope to believe that we are on the path to where he promised us?
Okay. Like I said, we are yet to see that foundation that will make us the Dubai of Africa as a state.
Mm. All right. All right. Yeah.
We are yet to see that.
Okay, let's move on to other things that are in the news before we get to the topic that we brought you here to discuss with us, which is AI and impact. The issue of Christian genocide is one that is not going away. It's been in the conversation for the past three weeks or more. What do you make of that issue? How is it playing where you are at FUTO Owerri or in the southeast?
Yeah, here we believe that there is genocide, because if you are in the news on daily basis, you hear, people being killed for no just cause. Yeah, they were not killed for the people to occupy the place of the people killed, but the killing will, take place probably when the people are worshiping. So it's not just like, insecurity. It's kind of organized something. So, and it is very regular, and nothing is being done about it. That is where people are feeling so much concern. At least if things are being done about it, and probably not enough, then people will see that there is concerted effort to try to stop this from happening. But then, even when people cry out that this thing is going to happen tomorrow, and nothing is done, and tomorrow that thing happens, so it becomes a source of worry that it may be a coordinated attempt, and that is why some people are using the term genocide.
Are people expecting Trump to invade Nigeria where you are?
Nigerians have a way of using everything as a joke. So if you look at some social media, you see trying to depict Trump entering and how people are running helter-skelter. And so with that, you wouldn't know exactly whether the people, want it or the people do not want it. But, in general terms, get it? Many people feel that something extraordinary should be done to, curtail the killings, more especially in the Middle Belt.
How is the politics where you are, Imo State? You have APC, its governor there, and he's been allied with the federal government. How is that playing out? Because we saw when Pitamba, the governor of Enugu State, when he joined APC, the same thing with Bayelsa State. They all give the excuse or the reason being that they want to be able to work closer with the government at the center and bringing more things to their states by joining APC. Has that worked for Imo State?
Yes, I would say yes, because I've stayed in Imo State for a very long time. So all this while, probably, some years past, I will not be able to compare. But between this, present government and the last two governments of the state, there is a remarkable difference in what we are experiencing. So I will say that Imo State, being an APC state, is favoring the state.
Is it because
in Nigeria, things are not very, smoothly. So you don't expect Imo State to, be another thing in isolation. So it's a microcosm of the entire, country, Nigeria. But when you make comparison between the current APC government in Imo State and the past two governments, you see that there is a remarkable difference. At least those of us that have been on ground can attest to that.
is the difference because he is part of APC or that he is under pressure to perform because of how he got in there? Was that, do you know whether the difference is because he's the party and the government is APC, or because the governor himself is under pressure to perform because of the way he got there?
Yeah, what I can say is somebody that wants to deliver the dividend of democracy will do it irrespective of the party that brought him in, irrespective of the circumstance that brought the person in. So I feel that it is, the mindset of the team leader of the government that wants to make a difference, not necessarily because of other conditions, because there are people that have taken position based on one way or the other that didn't even give any concern about how they come in and do whatever they want to do. So I believe that it is the person in charge wanting to give the people the dividend of democracy.
All right. One last thing before we go to the topic we brought you here for. I speak to people in Nigeria, and recently in the last few weeks, they said that they are hearing less and less about 2027. More people, especially the political class, are panicking over this idea of what will Trump do? What is this new political arrangement where people are actually reporting Nigeria to the international community? And I want to know, do you get a sense that that's what's going on? Are we seeing more? Are people still moving straight, talking about 2027? Or have they paused to deal with insecurity, for instance, in Nigeria?
Yeah, man is a political being. So at my own level, some of the moves are, showing that definitely by next year, the, campaigns will be in full force for the next election. So I think, people are, strategizing, aligning and realigning to make sure that, next year they will come out in full force to, grab one position or the other politically. So they are doing that, but probably because of the, economic, situation in the country, they have not started throwing, enabling conditions around. When I say that, I guess you understand what I'm, saying. So by next year, we expect to see that in full force, against 2027.
All right.
So, there's aligning and realigning going on.
All right. Thank you so much. We will now go into why we had you booked to come on this program to talk to us about AI. Just a minute.
Okay.
All right. For those just joining us, we are talking to Professor Michael Ndinechi, the immediate past dean of School of Electrical and Electronic Engineering at FUTO Owerri. Prof, we want to talk about AI. Africa missed the industrial age. We haven't caught up. We are now in the age of technology. How are we doing?
Yes. I will say that Africa has not still catch up with the world technologically, but a new technology is coming in. That technology doesn't have to be, inventing heavy machineries and all those things. It requires, knowledge, and where to get that knowledge abounds. So Africa, being a home to, we say about 1.4 billion people with, huge youth population who can, delve into this new technology and make proper use of it to make change on way things were being done in the past. Then we say that there is big hope for Africa in the new dispensation of artificial intelligence, different from when technology was centered on manufacturing heavy equipment and sophisticated equipment. So the era of artificial intelligence, I strongly believe, will benefit Africa so much in the areas of agriculture, healthcare, education, governance, and even, digital security, cyber security that, requires intelligent and not necessarily production lines.
I hear what you're saying, and I always think about, is it possible for us to get where you think we are going to go to without having water coming into our homes, having gas coming into our home, having electricity in every home, having telephone? Is it possible to get there without those basic things that depended on what was achieved during the industrial age? Can we, for instance, have driverless car going from Nobi to Newi without electricity, without the basic things that they accomplished, those that benefited from industrial age?
Well, if we look at it this way, in developed economies, this artificial intelligence will, displace jobs. But in Africa, this artificial intelligence will create jobs because, like, the example you gave, get it? The artificial intelligence will help assist people to now, be able on their own to develop how to, put these amenities in place without necessarily having to reinvent the wheel. And that will involve many people before getting to that point. So in involving many people, then high-tech jobs will be created, in the chain. So many people will be engaged in doing one thing or the other. So what we are saying is it will now become easier for people to see when there is fault along this transmission line that makes it not very possible for electricity generated to serve the people either 12 hours a day or thereabout. Because some of those things occur not because there is no electricity generated, but in the course of transmission and distribution, there are, failures, which takes hours to rectify. Now, with this new technology and people work hard, they will be able to identify these failures within seconds, put them back in order. So you see, if you now have a driverless car moving from one point to the other, immediately there is a hitch. This will help to know exactly where the hitch is, rectify it, and probably just a few minutes delay, the process continues again. So it is going to really be of big assistance to get this. The world is a global village. What is happening in Western world can easily happen here, but the human aspect of making that happen is the burn here that gets people back. That maybe when something happens, it will take 2-3 days to fix it. When in actual sense, with artificial intelligence, it can be fixed within 5 minutes.
Now, in America here, or most parts of the world, we can point at universities that are centers for development in AI and new technologies. In Nigeria, what universities are leading and what are they doing?
Yeah, you see, AI, like I said, does not require the invention of the wheel. AI is, it's like a tool available universally. So somebody has developed that tool, so it is just for you to get into it and make use of that tool to achieve what you want. So in Nigeria, for now, there are no universities or institutions dedicated to be center of study of artificial intelligence. But the curriculum has incorporated across board those causes that lead to development of artificial intelligence. Because for Africa to be an active player, there must be AI by Africans for Africa. We won't have to depend solely on the ones developed by the Western world or developed economies. So we see that in Africans being part of this development of AI by Africans for Africa, then a lot of jobs will be created. For instance, in agriculture, countries like Kenya, South Africa, even in Nigeria, have started automating farming using locally developed artificial intelligence. And of course, you know what it will lead to? Higher yields. So there will be more products or farm products out. Then when we have more, you see people going into what we call post-harvest technology. That is how to preserve these things and probably ship it outside the country, outside the continent before they get spoiled, and how to handle them so that they do not get spoiled. Let me give an instance. We see that Gary comes from China to Nigeria, for instance. It takes some days. But if you fry Gary in Nigeria, within that number of days, it will get spoiled. So somebody is doing something to preserve that Gary that it stays a long time before getting bad. In South Africa, for instance, most of the apple people eat also come from South Africa. And at the University of Stellenbosch, they have what they call Department of Post-Harvest Technology that helps to study what makes these fruits or these apples to spoil within certain number of days. So they take care of it so that when they ship it from South Africa to Nigeria, even if it stays close to 1 month on the road, it doesn't get spoiled. So, you see, now, artificial intelligence will enable people to, whatever product they are having, to study and know what is responsible for those products to, get bad as soon as possible, and now take care of it so that they can now start exporting those things to, outside their countries. And when they do that, of course, it becomes improved economy, improved life, standard of living for the people. So this will be done without having to have, large equipment. With a laptop, you have access to many AI tools that you can query, put some data, and get exactly what you want. So you see, it doesn't require so much of production line for you to get result. So we are feeling that the enormous number of youths in Africa should be able to leverage on this AI to help the continent grow, not just using it to do animation in TikTok and Facebook and get monetized. That is not what we are talking about. But you see, the youths are venturing more into that. And we feel that government should, come in to provide direction African governments should come in to provide directions so that we don't, waste our time as a continent using this for Facebook and TikTok and make money for some people. Before we know it, we come back to square one to lag behind and probably blame some other people for our not working hard.
Now, we're talking about Africa and AI. There are data centers that are being built in South Africa, in Kenya, and I don't know whether it's happening in Nigeria. And if it's happening in Nigeria, where do we have the electricity to support such construction? Because when you think about AI, you need a lot of computing power. And when we don't have the basic ingredients, power, how do we participate? In the last scale, I'm not talking about the ones we do with apps that are developed somewhere or apps that are the information are stored somewhere else. What are we doing indigenous in Nigeria and Africa? Because all the big corporations are coming to Africa, trying to find a conducive environment where they can invest in data centers and all the structures they need for their AI.
Okay, let me correct an impression. Energy problem in Nigeria is, largely being solved. There is one government, introduced, which they call energizing education. For instance, in my university, just commissioned 9 megawatt solar hybrid plant. So that will give us, or has started giving the university 24-hour
power
supply. You get it? So we cannot, as a university now, say that energy is setting us back. Where I live, we also have average of 20 hours of light a day. So
is it the national grid or outside the national grid?
Yeah, like the where I live is national grid. With my hybrid solar system, I have electricity 24 hours. But where I live, the public power supply gives 20 hours a day. Some universities, not only my university, have this, energizing education project. So they also have, 24-hour power supply. So that has improved tremendously. You get it? But like I said, government must provide direction in this era of artificial intelligence so that it doesn't become a haphazard thing. This person is doing this person is doing that. It has to be coordinated.
So what in research and development, what are the things that are going on in that field in Nigeria? Or start from your university. Are you in your department or your school of engineering doing research work in AI?
Like I said, the university, the Nigerian system runs, what I may call a rigid curriculum. For instance, there is this new curriculum called CC Core Curriculum Minimum Academic Standard, where NUC produced a curriculum that's 70% of the curriculum, and the universities are expected to just introduce 30%. So, like, I have a presentation, public lecture in my YouTube channel, which, I called Sustainable Engineering Education in the Era of Artificial Intelligence. And I made it clear that this curriculum was just put in place few years back, 2 years back, before the explosion of artificial intelligence. And if you look at those curriculums, you see that artificial intelligence was just like, okay, try to introduce it. And because you are going to follow this rigid curriculum, you don't have, the freedom to change it. So I call for immediate review of that curriculum, even though it is just about 2 years, because we need to review it to bring it up to standard of what is happening now, or else it will be teaching today what has expired yesterday. So we need to quickly review that. And like I said, that has to come from government. And if given opportunity as a university, definitely we will review that curriculum as quickly as possible to introduce, new things. Because, like I said, the curriculum, as far as I'm concerned, is dead on arrival. So
Now,
if you look and say,
now you are talking about if the university, they have to lead the university. Has the university, I mean by your university, proposed what needed to be done to the federal government, and how receptive are they to those kind of ideas coming from the university?
the way the Nigerian system runs, okay, you can click on the live something, then you see. So you can see the one to the extreme of my right with somebody wearing yellow cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, where I made it clear that, see, this curriculum must be reviewed and as quickly as possible. Now, coming to your question, you see, we have what is called Committee of Vice Chancellors. You get it? So probably the Vice Chancellors in that forum will bring this to the notice of government, because we have the National Universities Commission that is responsible for drafting, the curriculum. So we expect them to, see the trend, engage experts, so that this will be done quickly. So for individuals to propose, they have to go through their, vice chancellors, through the authorities before getting that. But for us, is for us to, at my own level, is to, make these public lectures where I will make this known and give reasons why it should be done, and expecting that the authorities will, listen to it and see reason why to do otherwise.
Okay, so I wanted to know the amount of, I asked you about the amount of research going on at the universities in Nigeria. Do you have an idea of the budget? Let's start with the budget, even if we don't specify the particular research going on. How much money is kept aside for research at the university level?
Yeah, I may not have that figure, but what happens is Nigerian government have what they call National Research Fund, where people, drop proposals, and they set up a body to consider proposals and approve those proposals. But then it comes a bit late. For instance, people that won those research grants in 2022 or 2023, may be yet to get the enabling fund to kickstart. So by the time they get the fund, they are already 2 years behind, the proposal they made. So you see, it is not very encouraging. So if you look at, let's say, 2022 research grants awarded to people, what we will be seeing will be, topics of 2020. When they did that, and it took this long time for approval, and it took another long time before release of initial funding. So by the time you go to start the research, you are already about 4-5 years behind. So when people are talking of today's research, you are talking of 2020 research. So it's not helping matter at all. So if I am to give information on that, what is going on, it will be what was supposed to have been going on in 2020 and not 2025.
All right. Let me ask you this in terms of this what's going to happen in 20 years. A new study here in America by the Democratic Party found out that in the next 10 years, this country will lose about 100 million jobs due to AI. 100 million jobs due to AI. In fact, in the last 1 month, so many companies have been firing people in thousands and saying that the reason why they're doing it is that they found an easier way to do that using AI. Companies like airlines discovered that there's no need for all the people they hire, that AI could make the work very easy and faster. So this is something they are preparing for. If you think about this, we're a country of 300 million people, 330 million people could potentially lose 100 million jobs in 10 years. What are the thinking in Nigeria? Will such a thing happen in Nigeria? Where will people go to? What kind of profession will people go to if AI should have that kind of impact in Africa or Nigeria?
Okay. My own, view about this is that the way AI is impacting people in the developed world for now is not the way it is impacting people in Africa. So if you take, for instance, so many taxi drivers in New York City, and all of a sudden they have driverless, taxis. So those people automatically lose their jobs. That is not going to happen in Africa.
Why?
In the next.
Why won't it happen? Why would it happen? For instance, in South Africa, in Kenya, where they have electricity, why won't they have driverless cars?
They may not have, even the discipline for the, driverless taxis to operate. Because you see, when we say developed world, it is part of the mind of the people. So in those places you mentioned, they may have electricity and roads, but the attitude of people may not make it to work the way it should work. So in Africa, we are not going to see that massive loss of jobs. Rather, my own thinking is that initially more jobs will be created. And people now that didn't move with time will be the ones AI will take their jobs. People that are moving with time, AI will provide them jobs. Take, for instance, I can now stay in my home and use AI. Let me use the funny side of it. Use AI to study my Bible and become a preacher. You get it? And many people will follow me and pay tithes online. You see, I've created a job for myself. You get it? And some people will use it and see how to help a farmer manage his product, to increase yield. So these things are things that are coming up that people can leverage in Africa. But in the West, this is what people are doing that AI will take away from them. So for us, I think in the next few years, AI will help to create jobs. But people that refuse to, follow the trend and get acquainted with how to use AI will be the people AI will take their jobs because they refuse to move with time.
So one of the people that a group of people really are the teachers. Teachers are one of the people penciled as people that might lose their jobs in large numbers, because some universities are setting up models now for teaching most classes where they don't need a physical teacher to be in class to teach, using AI and all the other technologies that are available to do that. Even in the medical field, studies are coming up where AI is now being used to read lab results, to read radiology results. You're eliminating so many jobs. Pharmacists are also at risk because AI could be used to get the prescription to patients without bypassing the pharmacist. So this is something that is big, and I was wondering whether Africans are really thinking about that, because when it comes, just like it doesn't have respect for territories. You can't really, like we talked about cell phone, for instance. People give credit. They said Obasanjo brought cell phone to Nigeria. I said, no, it's not Obasanjo. It had to come. When the market got saturated in the West, the people making the cell phone, they have to bring it to other places and sell it to other people. And they had to find a way to come into your country and sell it to you. So the same thing with AI technology. Companies, first of all, on their own, for the interest of making profit, will eliminate. Universities can decide if there's an effective way to teach students without having 10 professors in one department. If they can do with one, they will do with one. So what is Africa doing in preparation? Or is Africa thinking, or people in Africa thinking that, we still have time? It's not imminent.
Yeah, remember, our topic is limiting the next 20 years.
Yes.
So You see, within that time, the AI will start by creating jobs and gets to, a peak and, comes down to start now impacting jobs. Because in developed world, it started by having so many people, even developers, even engaging people from Africa to work at home to help them build up this database of artificial intelligence. By then, you hear people saying, I work from home, I work from Africa, I earn in dollars. You get it? Until it gets to the peak and it starts displacing people. So in Africa, we are at the point going up that it will help people. But we get to the point where it will start displacing people. So we are now saying that people, individuals, must latch into this to remain relevant when it comes down. If they don't, those people that didn't will be left behind. For instance, in education you talked about, if I don't know how to, use those AI, chatbots, AI classrooms, and things like ChatGPT, time will come when it will be only people that can assist students to come up with knowing how to give instructions to those AI tools to get what they want. Then people that didn't develop themselves will be displaced. So few that will remain will be the ones that are relevant. That is why we are saying that everybody must key in now that AI will replace people that didn't key in now.
Let me
People
ask.
that now make use of AI.
Let me ask you: is there somewhere in our hometown, Nobi, where somebody is learning coding today? Is anybody anywhere in Nobi learning coding?
Yeah, I won't say Nubians are not learning
No, it's an
coding,
example of a
but
town, a small town.
having there, I will say I am not aware of anyone. I visit home regularly, so I am not aware of anyone.
If you have a nephew or a niece who is interested in going to the university, what will you tell them to study now?
Yeah,
Based on what you know about where the world is going to 20 years from now.
yes. What my boy that is going into the university now is going to do software engineering or cybersecurity. You get it? So that it starts early to develop, appetite for coding.
Now, let me just again.
Likewise, any other person, I will advise so. But remember, any course you are studying now and has, good element of AI will also make you an expert in that area using AI.
All right. So just another disclosure. When I was in high school, you were in the university, and we looked up to you, and you ended up becoming a professor. When I was writing my final year project, I went to UI. I went to Ahmadu Bello University. I went to UNN. I went to the University of their Department of Agricultural Engineering. And I looked at the projects that were done by previous students before my own set. And they produced a lot of prototypes of equipment you can think about. the equipment for planting cassava, planting maize, for harvesting, for processing. These things are still there, I'm sure, today in those storage spaces. Never produced, never utilized. Why did we fail? And how are we going to, what gives you the impression that this new technology that is coming in, that we are going to do better? Why did we fail to utilize the skill set of generation of engineers that the country produced, including you?
Okay, like I said, we need, government to have a holistic, view of how to guide this technology and not leave it at individual or sectional levels. Now, what you said, when I was director of Electronics Development Institute, get it, I looked at, coming from the university background to go and head the institute, I looked at where we have something like, electronic product development, where we can enter the universities, see novel, student projects, then get the students and harness their potentials to get that product they developed to the market, that is, commercialize it. So we made a proposal in the budget to get, some fund to go and do this, because that time we were looking at first product was to be phone charger, because we are looking at a market of over 150 million Nigerians that use phone, and from time to time their charger gets bad and we have to buy from China. But this is what any final year engineering or electrical engineering student can design. But after designing that, it takes a lot to have a production line to send that to the market. He may not have it as an individual, but the center can, have, a small assembly line that will help students that have such minute electronic products to mass produce. It becomes their product. It becomes made in Nigeria. It can be, moved to other countries to earn foreign exchange. But then, what did we get? The budget that was approved for us to do this was not even enough to visit one university once. So, but this is what you do and follow up. I'll give you an instance. When I was at the University of Greenwich, Ericsson has a research coordinator that goes to universities to see researches that are of interest to Ericsson and, take it from there and make sure it gets to the market or is integrated in their operations. So if we stay and wait for professors to develop something and get it to the market, it is not possible. It's not possible, because to get a product from research end to the market requires a lot of input. So when they do that, it ends there. The greatest problem from my experience is in budgeting. When the government doesn't look at key indices. I give you an example. Because I was head of the institute, if you apply for, let's say you want to design a car, that is known by everybody. And in the first year, they give you money that is just equivalent to buy 4 tires. And next year, there was no money given at all to continue with that. In the next 2 other years, that person with that idea of developing a car is gone. The next person is having idea of developing a keke. So even the money government put in to initial money that is just enough to buy the 4 tires of the car will become a waste. So, but if the budgeting is taking, okay, this year, this money given to you is equivalent to get 4 tires, and you got 4 tires. So next year, do we give you money equivalent to get an engine? You continue like that until that project comes to a logical conclusion. But government will invest money this year, next year they forget all about that. That is also what happens in the university system, because this state fund research grant I'm talking about, if you get it and after 2-3 years, they start releasing money to you for the next 2 years. Then after that 2 years, it's the same. I think government should look at it and say, okay, this work stopped here. How do we continue to get it to a logical conclusion? And probably giving a further, after analyzing, giving a further grant to make sure that it gets to that point. For instance, I want to, give this real life. When I know a group that got a grant, by the time they, made a proposal, a laptop was 300 and something thousand. By the time the first fund was released, the laptop was 1.2 million. So how do you think they can get that laptop? Assuming they have 2, they needed 2 to work. So you see that on arrival, that grant is almost equal to nothing. But if that grant gets, a subsequent one, then they can continue and get to a logical conclusion.
All right. We have a lot to touch about. People are here. We have to get them involved in the conversation. I will ask you 2 more questions quickly, and then we will take a break. When we come back, we bring them in and then continue this conversation. Question is this: knowing all these things, all the impediments, why are you still there? Why are you in Nigeria teaching there?
So, well, we are here to contribute our own quota. For instance, if you look at my YouTube channel, I know people, many students cannot afford, quality engineering textbooks. You get it? So I used it as my own little contribution to, give lectures that we cover the spectrum of electrical engineering, electronic engineering, mechatronics engineering, telecommunications engineering, and computer engineering. And of course, some general engineering, courses. Get it? That is my own little way of contributing. You see, at my old age, I'm an Igbo man. In Igbo parlance, it says that, you don't learn how to do left hand at old age. You get it? So we have to, stay here and continue to contribute until we, get out. Like one of my lectures there, I'm also trying to, educate people at my age on what they will start now that will take them after retirement to remain relevant. Get it? So that is, what it is. And we have to stay and continue to talk. Like, I made that of sustainable education, engineering education, telling the people concerned that we do not have enough course content in this thing that is going to shape the future of our young ones and the future of our country. So that is, my little contribution staying here.
Um, there is a book, a new book that was published last month. I wanted to show it, but I don't have it. I will show it before the end of the program. The book was talking about the difference in the structure of governance between China and America. And it was talking about in America, you have lawyers running the country. And it's difficult for America in this time to do some projects, pursue some projects because of all the legal entanglements. But in China, you have engineers running the country, and that's why they're able to produce. They are methodical in their thinking. They're about production and quality production. What do you think is the problem with Nigeria in terms of uh, relationship between the government and like research institutes and engineering? I'll give you one example, personal example. When I was at FUTA Akure, we had a governor of Ondo State that was an engineer in the military, and he gave us the project to design a water hyacinth harvester, and it was given to my university. And over two classes, my own class designed the machine. The next class following us built it, and they actually deployed it to harvest water hyacinth. Why is it that Nigeria, we don't have people in government who understand these things and they're able to harness the knowledge base that we have?
Yeah. Like I said earlier when we talked about Imo State, I made it clear that what happens is the function of the mindset of the team leader. Now, if the team leader is knowledgeable and gets other knowledgeable people to work with him, you see that the right thing will be done. But when people are not really knowledgeable, whether you like it or not, initial education is very important in shaping a mind. So if your upbringing is in the line of engineering, a good engineer thinks differently, and that is why you know um, it's a bit difficult for you to have many engineers in key position in Nigeria. For instance, there was a time a lawyer was the minister of energy and power. So he continues to talk about legal issues, and at the end of the year, nothing will be delivered. But if you have an engineer, the mindset is always different because he wants to, look into the future to get out what will be, beneficial. For instance, an engineer building a bridge will factor in the possible weight of vehicles that will fly that bridge. An agriculturist who plants maize is not thinking about pest. It is only when he goes to the farm and sees a pest, say, how do we tackle this pest? Already, the problem is there before he start looking for solution. But an engineer will look at, you know, possible future, possible outcome. So, you see, for us to, do well as a nation, we must start having, engineers in the right places. If you see where an engineer is in the right place, there is always a difference. My little example, we go to, Ebonyi State, when Umahi, an engineer, was the governor of the state. There was a remarkable difference between what happened during his term and what happened before his term.
But under him,
it's a difference.
Under him, he also constructed a airport that collapsed. The roof collapsed in less than 1 year. But one last question from me before we get people in. Your vice chancellor nobody can criticize her. She's a hero to many people because of how she conducted the election in Abia State that had Oti elected governor of Abia State. But I have an issue with your vice chancellor. Maybe you can clear it with us, for us, people who are watching. She was the person that was vice chancellor, if I'm wrong, correct me, when Isa Pantami became professor at FUTO. I want to find out, has he resumed, he was a minister at that time, has he resumed at FUTO or where is he now? Is he teaching at FUTO?
You see, in appointment of a professor, first of all, let me clear something. The process has started before she came in as the vice chancellor.
Okay.
You get it? When you take over position, you take, assets and liability. That is what happened in her case. Do you get it? In fact, I was a member of the governing council when that happened. You see, the predecessor had done all the, processes that are supposed to be done. So we came, I think that was even our first council meeting where she chaired. It was already that, because the process is that the paper comes back and the VC presents to the council, and the council, looks at the thing and approve. So when people stay and, talk about her and that issue, it is not exactly what it should be. People talk about that from the point of ignorance. That at that point, it is not for her to stop that, but for council to stop that. And like I said, I was a member of that council that approved that appointment. Do you get it? But people are seeing it that it is the vice chancellor. Vice chancellor is not the chairman of council.
So your council that approved it, what did you guys see that the general public did not see in the things that were presented about Isa Pantami?
That's what I'm saying. The appointment of a professor takes a process. You get it? You cannot come at the last process and stop that.
So the council had no power. The council had no power to stop it.
No. Remember that. A previous council has done all including establishing a prima facie case, including sending papers out for assessment, including receiving the assessment. You get it? Yes. It's like somebody is to be ordained a priest. He's been a seminarian for years. He's done all the things. You get it? And on the day of, ordaining the person a priest, a visiting bishop comes and says, I don't like your face. You are not going to be a priest. You get it? Then it's left for that, bishop to say why he doesn't like this young man's face to ordain him or a priest. You get it? If you don't have reason to do that, then you cannot just go and do that without saying what made you do that.
So let me get this. Is it normal for somebody to be appointed a professor at a university and the person will never show up there and never teach there? Does it happen all the time?
No.
Okay, so what happened in this case?
You can be appointed a professor. I still use myself as a small example. You get it? As at the time I became a professor, I was at the Electronics Development Institute as a director, chief executive. Do you get it? So you can be appointed, and if government gives you, another job assignment, you continue to do government assignment and continue to get, what you call leave of absence. Are you getting me?
Yeah. So is Pansami on leave of absence?
I won't know now because I don't have his files, but I'm telling you that it is what is possible. Okay. Because when I was appointed, I continued on my leave of absence until 2015 that I decided to go back to the university, system. So it is not out of place. That is what I'm trying to, put through, that it is not out of place. But when conflict of interest comes, people say everything, and people believe what they want to believe.
All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will continue. We'll bring in everybody now to weigh in and chat with Professor Michael Ndinechi, who is joining us from the Federal University of Technology, Owerri, FUTO, today. All right, see you. right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for staying here, hanging in with us. We appreciate all of you. Just a programming notes. Next Sunday, we are going to welcome to the show Pastor Ezekiel Dachoma of Plateau State. You guys know him. He's the person making the case that there is genocide going on in Nigeria. So he will join us here on Sunday and next week for an interesting conversation. Yeah, so welcome back to our conversation with Professor Michael Ndinechi, who is joining us from FUTO, Owerri. So at this point, I'll bring in our people who are here to get involved in this conversation. If you want to join us, please turn on your camera. I see so many people in back end, but their cameras are off. If you turn on your camera, we'll bring you on. So I'll give you a chance to either ask a question or make a comment, make it brief so that we can get to so many people as much as we can. So let me start with you, Ikolola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rudolph. And thank you for coming in. Professor, he's a professor,
Yes.
Ndinechi Michael. Oh, good to see you. Right. I don't have a question per se, but I have an observation which I think I would like you to weigh in into. You know, most of the things we see today in AI actually, from my studies, actually started in the 70s. You know, they started with this idea that someday it's called machine learning, that machines will be able to understand things we humans do. But within that 70, in the 70s to now, they've come a long way that it's something we can see work. So also in the year 2000, we had this computer bubble that, you know, the computers were going to do this, the computers were going to do that, and it was professionals ramping up their profession so they can make a lot of kill from it. But it came out to be a bubble. Do you at any point think this is professionals in artificial intelligence ramping up their profession so they can make a lot of money out of it before everybody knows they are being played? And even if they are being honest that AI will be able to do that, AI will be able to do this, AI will be able to go whatever it wants in the next 10, 20 years, do you ever think Africans would just be consumers and not be part of the creation, judging by the fact that this idea started in the 70s? So if Africans are just learning about it now, they're late already.
All right. Thank you, Ikolola. Go ahead, Professor Michael Ndinechi.
Okay. Yes. You know, when we were, students, what we were hearing is, expert systems, decision trees, and, we see artificial intelligence as something that is very far. When you work on, artificial neural network, and all those things, thinking that artificial intelligence will be, something still in future. Then we came to fuzzy logic, and so we have come to this point. And what we are saying is we want, a bigger look at it, coordinated by various governments, so that we don't end up continuing to be consumers, so that we will have artificial intelligence by Africans for Africa. It may take a while. That is why, in my, presentation, I made it clear that we will first get up to a point before it starts displacing jobs. Because if we are to have our own, mindset of artificial intelligence, we will see that even though it took the other people from the 70s to get to this point, we are not expected to take that long to get to where we should be. But it needs to be coordinated, and not when I say I'll be doing my own thing about artificial intelligence and another person will be doing his own thing. No, it has to be a coordinated research to come up with how Africa will leverage on the tools that are already there to have our own set of artificial intelligence. If we don't do quick, in the next few years, we become a dumping ground. And by the time we start using it without knowing how it come about, it becomes difficult for us to develop an indigenous artificial intelligence and its applications.
All right, thank you, Kolola. Let's go to another person. If we have chance, we'll come back to you for a second question, okay? All right, let's go to Chibo Ndinechi, which it looks like you are related. All right, Chibo, go ahead. Welcome to the show. Unmute yourself, Chibo. Oh, Chibo is not, it's frozen.
It doesn't seem his network is...
I also know that he's in Nigeria. So, all right, let's keep him and go to somebody else maybe next time if he comes back. Femi, welcome to the show. You're next.
Yeah. Good morning, Professor. I was wondering if you are aware of as many of the orbs that you have scattered around the various states in Nigeria, and to Onitsha, to Jos, to Lagos. Whatever the case, my own worry has always been about, especially in recent decades, how we approach education and knowledge in Nigeria. I just feel for the most part, whether AI or just generally speaking, that a lot of Nigerians just go to school, they're unemployable, and it's not as much as unemployment being the case. Now, with respect to AI, where my question now comes in is, I know you've spoken well about how it may not necessarily be catching up with job availability in Nigeria, which I slightly disagree with, because I'm very aware. I'm in constant touch with quite a number of establishments and people in Nigeria, starting from the telecommunications firm, where they're beginning to replace even call centers within the likes of MTN with built up AI data sets per adventure, even though it might be built on top of what other LLMs that were coming from other parts. My thinking, which has already been introduced by Dr. Rudolph previously, is I hope it's not a case that we would wait till we get to this catches up with us. We think, because considering the fact that we live in a global village, why are you so confident that this thing will not catch up with us before we know it? Especially when you tie it to the fact that it didn't take us that long to catch up with the likes of the rest of the world when what's it called? Telecommunications came to Nigeria.
Yes, for every new technology, there must be, people that will be affected adversely. If you remember, in the early days of computers, we have the people, known as the Luddites, people that, rejected it in its entirety. You get it? Because it was to take over their jobs. But you see, computers came into being and even created more jobs. And, it continues. My own analysis is that we have reached at the point where technology will be affecting jobs instead of creating more jobs. But for Africa that has, a sizable youth, if Africa and African governments coordinate AI the way it should be, then it will start by creating some jobs. Yes, some people will lose their jobs, like we mentioned, MTN or some telecom companies, centers. Yes, but mind you, some people will leverage on, this artificial intelligence to also come up with other things to help to assist other ways things are being done in a crude way. So it is a question of people developing their knowledge base, being guided to develop a knowledge base to tackle real life problems, which for now, many of them are still being done in a crude way. So, like I said, if you don't embrace artificial intelligence now, it will impact you negatively. But if you embrace it, you'll be able to, look at any of those SDG goals, go 7, 13, go 7, 9, 13, and see where you will fit in. In one of my, online lectures on sustainable engineering, education, sustainability, I made it clear that instead of, our universities going ahead to, continue to do projects that are no longer relevant, they can focus on, areas of clean energy. When they do that, you see that 1,001 jobs will be created because people that need clean energy abound, and there are so many of them. So if you, try to leverage on artificial intelligence to provide clean energy, you will see that your market will be unlimited. That is, what we are saying, that there will be first creation of jobs before job losses. But if we do not harness the potential of this artificial intelligence, it will start affecting us immediately. But if we, develop our mentality to harness it, it will first create some jobs. Just like when GSM came, you see people under umbrellas making out a living until after such a time, it fizzled out. Then those of them that try to create and move further to start producing recharge cards and other aspects, learning how to, repair phones and all those things, it became a very big market. So I still believe that if we coordinate it well, it will first create jobs and gets to the peak before it starts displacing jobs.
All right. Thank you, Femi. Before I come to Wabelo over here, let me just throw in this question. It says that this is something I think I discussed with you before you came on air, but we didn't get to that. The app, there's an app now that is God app. There's an app that is different pastors. There are apps now where you can actually go to an app and have your church service with the app. You basically ask a question. You can make your own confession to the pastor. You don't need a real pastor anymore. You don't need to go and pay tithes and a lot of people, young people in the West, they don't have to go to church. If they feel like talking to a pastor, they go to the app. So it's real. And in Rwanda, they have drones now delivering medication to different parts of the country. So if they were using vehicles to transport that, that is gone. The driver, everybody is unemployed. It's real. It's happening immediately as we speak. So the question is, back to what Femi was saying, that this might be more imminent than you are making it look like. That's the comment I got from.
I'm sorry, Doctor, if I may add. I'm glad you brought up the issue of Rwanda, because I saw that thing when they test ran a couple of months ago. That's exactly where I was heading with that. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay. So, Prof.
Okay. Yeah. Let's take, in fact, in one of my something last week, I talked about the impact of this AI on religion. You will see it just a 27 minutes something, because you see, definitely AI will reshape how people perceive God. It will be able to do all manner of things even better than some of the so-called pastors do that. But then, will it be able to do things like for religious people, say divine revelation? Can the machine sing? Can it? So there are lots and lots of ethical questions that are there. But then it will help people to find the truth behind their religion better than what their general overseers tell them, what their pastors tell them. But then in religion and religious rituals, we get blessings, we get divine revelations. With these machines, less people. With these machines,
why not? Why not? If he writes poetry, writes books, why won't it bless people? Is it not words? You tell him what you want.
In spirituality, we talk about soul, conscience, and divine revelation. The machine cannot have soul. It cannot have divine revelation. So it will still fall short. But then many people, depending on your belief, definitely many people will rely on this artificial intelligence to get all their spiritual satisfaction. In which case, I believe that very soon many pastors, when I say pastors, African pastors that depend so much on prosperity, will start losing membership, because I'm sure AI will not be talking about prosperity. But one thing is very important. Remember what AI is machines that try to learn, think, and act autonomously based on data. So the ethical question comes: if I give my machine a fraudulent data to preach the wrong aspects of my religion, who takes the blame? Is it me that feed the data, or the machine that used the data to probably preach what is out of what it should be? So it becomes, who certifies the true interpretation? Is it the human being or the machine? So
all right,
it's not here nor there.
We'll expand on that when I get a chance. But let me get Ovie to Wayne. Ovie, Obolo, you are next.
Every day, these intellectuals, I'm coming after you too, Dr. Dameji. So this is not because you guys occupy the echelon of intellectuals, but not just that, you guys are opinion molders. So I am not just angry, I am disappointed But my consolation is that it gave me a reason to keep fighting for people like Owerri. Zipline, by the way, nobody the one that get them. It's owned by an American company, funded by people who are younger than me. We gloss over finishing products that 99% of us will not be able to afford, when we are supposed to be the driving force of that. Most of us will not explain to solely a Gen Z voice on this platform why it takes us 60 to 70 years to refine our oil. Maybe we'll not learn enough. Nature, again, has given us a rare opportunity, not just to change our life, but to define civilization going forward. We sit at the top of what makes AI possible. How you go fit drive that car dreaming from Lagos to Nobi. Those are finishing products that most of us cannot afford, but we are home to the natural resources. America and China turned their grinding machine. That's what it's called now, human grinder, on us. And it's not because of religion. It's because of them won't get us direct access to that resources. Somebody should not come and tell me there is a plant being built in Kaduna. Yeah, there is a plan. What is the agreement? 70 to 80% of that resource will go from Kaduna straight to Beijing. Who do all like this? If British and the rest of the world are worrying about what AI is going to do to the economy, that should not be our prerogative. Because we stand a chance to actually develop it from the beginning to the end. Why are we not talking about how to build local industry, mining and manufacturing? We are talking about how AI will take to us and all that. I am disappointed because this is not what we should be telling the younger generation. How we go to explain to the future generation by, say, 2075, why we could not mine our own lithium in our own at the right time? We'll wait another 50 years. Femi was alluding to that. We go to wait for finishing products when we're supposed to determine how things should move forward. The Arabian nation are not doing that. They don't have the resources. But those that want it bad are going to them to cut a deal. It is because people like us are preaching to focus on what enslaves us, the finishing products. Our oil up to today is still tied direct to outside world. We never learn enough. Let's change the way we talk about things. We have the raw materials. Why is it that I cannot transport that raw material to have a drone delivering all over the world? We are proud, say, delivering line in Uganda. Nobody then get them. They cannot afford it. They take their resources, they are still taking the finishing profits direct to them again. Is that how we are going to live for the next 80 years? Because this is what this is about. We have the raw material. Why we not educate ourselves on that? So we can say AI should even pause by now, make them wait for us. Why are we worried about what AI is going to do to us? We can't control it. The only way we can control it is to control the genesis. How long? If our forefather make that mistake, whether under duress, whether under whatever, here's the least we could do is to resist, even if our life depends on it. And we don't get choice. As I said, their grinding machine is already here. It's already here. They are waiting for us to just make any simple mistake. They go grind us and nothing will happen. They are fighting to be the controller of that resources. They know why. Instead of us to be the controller of that resources. Why should I be thinking about job? Then bomb me to come to work? Somebody just win mayor of New York. Which job he don't get before? Never work a day in his life. Is he stupid? Is he not a human being? Can't we all do that? Every day, work. How many jobs we get? What job we go correct? That job, that work we can't work. Our forefathers were forced to work. Would they happy say we won't go work? Like, what is going on? So that's where my anger is coming from. Yes, I understand the topic is AI, and that is the beginning of the problem. So I listened for almost an hour. Nobody talk about how do we arrive at AI? We are supposed to be the teacher. We hold a very important place in society. How society should go determined by us journalists, the people where from say we know something. The reason I will support an illiterate who doesn't know how to speak English, but people are still not getting it. We are at the crossroad. Whatever we people with their life now, whatever we do today will define the next 80 years. So up to us what we talk about or what we teach people. So my question, how do we explain to generation 2075 that we can mine our own lithium here in our own land? We are expecting outside to come and do it for us. And we are proud debating how the outcome of that product will benefit them. We no go fit afford them. You can never, before Dr. Dameji, you no go see driverless car from Lagos to Enugu in your lifetime. No, because even if we did, now only 2-3 people go fit afford them. That's the future we are debating with pride. I rest my case.
Okay.
We are talking too much.
Can I come in?
Yeah.
You see, all of us are free to get upset in what is happening, but in technology, you do not go back to reinvent the wheel. You get it? When technology comes, it has come. If you don't make use of it, it leaves you behind. So the thing that is now is, how do we leverage on this present technology to even do the mining you are talking about? Because you must, in our Igbo parlance, it says, if you don't know where it started to beat you, you will not know where it stopped. So you must, not try to reinvent the wheel. You make use of the wheel to achieve what you are looking at now. If you don't, join the moving train now and make use of it, then that same train will leave you the way it left our forefathers. So we talked about, the host made mention of autonomous vehicles. It's not the only thing about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can help us have better agricultural yield, so that we don't go and compete with people where they have, advantage over us. But where we have advantage, we can deploy this technology to accentuate that advantage we have and become world supplier of cassava, for instance. So it is, apt that we talk about, the modern technology and see how we can use it to improve whatever we are doing, at least in agriculture, and use it to create agri-tech businesses that can, help us to reach the whole world. That is, my take on that.
All right, thank you, Professor Ndinechi. Ovie, let me just say, from the beginning of this program, I talked about how we missed the industrial age. And in the conversation that we were having, we mentioned the research that engineers have done in Nigeria, in Africa, things that we produce that we've not been able to translate into final products that are going to be in market and help our own people. I didn't get the chance to mention that some of those engineering products, prototypes made by Nigerian students, were being produced abroad and shipped to African countries for Africans to buy, because we don't have the environment, the government and corporate environment that will help to translate those products produced by engineers into the market. So when you are taking issue with artificial intelligence, and let me give you another example just for you to bear in mind. Just think about it. There are so many Africans who are abroad, who are into IT and technology and new science. And you think about this, if any of them can be like Elon Musk, one, and he's getting a paycheck of maybe $1 trillion. If such a person should be an African, oh, he's an African. Sorry, I forget. Oh, but if that person could take their resources back to Africa, that could be, because we like the professor here is saying, everything he is referring to the government, waiting for the government to do something or the other, and the government is not doing that. Then maybe we should hope that the corporations, corporate individuals like Dangote could decide one day, I'm interested in this, in advancing technological knowledge, moving it from theory to practice in Nigeria. That would be a transformation. So what we are saying is what we should be doing. We are not going to say we are going to argue that we can refine our petroleum. We did that before. Remember, don't make it look like we didn't do that. And the fact that Nigeria is not doing it doesn't mean that other African countries are not. In South Africa, they are mining their own resources. So it's not that it's not possible. It's just because of the flaws in our system of government. But anyway, I don't want it to be...
No, Dr. Lamiji, I think I won't say you guys are missing my point, because you guys are well educated to know exactly where I'm driving at. We are not inventing any wheel. We are not going to source for resources or steal resources. We have it. We are saying, can we use it to our advantage? May they come build the plant and everything down here to see if we cannot afford it. It is because they see the carry and commode. That's the point. We can make all the excuse all we want. Say we don't do it before. Why we know they do it again? We can criticize all of us. Just 1,000,001 reason to criticize anybody if that's what we want. But still doesn't remain the fact that we cannot do it. We have it. We know they go say, we are not saying our elite should go and steal like the way the Elon Musk are doing. Because when you are mentioning Elon Musk, I see he's so a genius. No, the resources that make Elon Musk, we get harm. Why are we allowing them to come and everywhere they scroll, they argue like this? It's not normal. And we are arguing like this. Why? Because if we don't argue like this, they will not get that free access to the resources in the first place. We get the raw materials, so we are not reinventing anything. So let's keep trying until we get it. No, we don't just try and say we'll do it before we can't give up. That's not an excuse.
All right,
we can determine our own civilization. Nobody is leaving us behind.
Ovie, we have other people waiting. Ovie, we have other people waiting. Let's after the show we can talk about this. After the show. All right, Igbo Basics, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dr. Ndinechi, and our guest, Ndinechi Michael, Professor. It's good to see you guys. Dr. Ndinechi, you took the words out of my mouth. I just have a few ways of looking at this. First, you are of the FUTO, that's the Federal University of Technology, Owerri. Correct? Yes. All right. My late uncle, Professor Amaendoka, was once the vice chancellor of that institution. Did you meet him?
Yes, he's a very good friend of mine. I was a very junior person, you know. I was with the vice chancellor when I graduated.
Thank you. The outline of my question is very simple. It's based on raw brains, less government, older generation, AI, and satire. That's the area I'm looking at. And the premise to my question is that we have had people like Damian Anyanwu, Radio Mbise, that I'm talking about the raw brain. We've had people like Philip Emeagwali on the international scale, as far as computing is concerned. And then now we're talking about AI. Nigerians, as I say it, everything is a joke. Us. That is why comedy thrives a lot in Nigeria. Even under the most serious circumstance. As the Okorie, that is the Okorie, when in house the bomb, you take knife, take machete, they chase rap around And that's what I see a lot of our people doing. I will just narrow it down straight to, first, I'm glad to meet you. You are from Nobi. I've had the privilege of visiting in Nobi one time in my life, and that was to see Chief Zebediah Okorigwe Nobi, alias Portati. And that's where that satire comes in. It seems that Nobi produces a lot of people like Dr. Damages of the younger generation now. Now I get to meeting people like you, whom I hope I will be able to meet you also sooner than later. By the time we put out the book on Zebediah, those are our foundations. My question to you today is, based on raw brains, less government, older generation, because Dr. Damages just alluded to people like Elon Musk. In Nigeria, we have Obi Kubana will come and reign. Omebo Ojigi will come and reign. Everybody will come. We'll clap. Now they are the heaviest today, having money. You know that they'll die. And move on. The Kennedy Luchuku have come. The rest, name them. We have them. I'm just talking from one angle. Dan Tata, Land and Sea. All those people have come. I'm going to direct my question straight to FUTO and Abba. The reason why I'm directing it to Abba is the raw brain from when we grew up and when we are still growing up and people there are people who don't believe that anything is impossible. Abba will make anything. Call it AI, call it whatever you call it, they will come at it from one angle or the other. That's the raw brains that we have. That's the raw brains that I believe people like Femi and my good friend Bobola is alluding to. The raw materials that we have at hand. I'm not even going to say what's going to happen in the near future when we are no longer here. That raw material there has put any relationship with the raw brains in Aba. And by that, I'm talking about both the area, both the Koha, that is the raw brains. That town has people who naturally, no matter the circumstances, they are striving, they are manufacturing, they are manipulating, making things, do whatever it is. And then Dr. Damages alluded to all the prototypes that are out there already. So what is FUTO doing to harness that role? I'm talking about Aba specifically. Of course, it can be found all in every other place in Nigeria. Does FUTO have a relationship with the underground in Aba to be able to pull those resources, those younger ones who will take after us, or are we just doing it in the classroom and waiting for those who may never come?
Okay, let me quickly say this. Part of our problem is having an enabling environment and the mindset of the people. If you have interacted with a typical, Nigerian Igbo businessman, he wants to guide that thing he has jealously. He doesn't want to share information with other people. He wants to be, if I use the term, managing director of a small outfit than being a 10% owner of a big conglomerate. So when you reach out to some of these people, because in the university, we have Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. We are to get people from, these basic things, shoemaking, soap making, tie and dye, cloth making, But when you approach them, they feel that you want to take what they have and, must produce people that will come and compete with him. So he recoils in his, shelf, and will not want to do such thing with you. So that's, mentality is very strong, and it is mainly what is holding, what we call gun to town. That is getting collaboration between the university and the people in town. It is very difficult to get those people to believe that having that collaboration will benefit him. And because he doesn't believe that it will benefit him, he will not have anything to do. When we even send students on industrial attachment to them, they reject them because they feel that when he stays with me for 3 months, next thing you see is he starts, if it is soap, he starts producing a similar soap that will compete with my own. If it is shoemaking, he starts producing, his own shoe that will compete with my own. So it is, that difficult. The secondary aspect of it is having enabling environment. For instance, when I was talking, I made it clear that the rigid curriculum developed by National Universities Commission doesn't allow free introduction of some of, this thing we are talking about. That is, the issues there. It doesn't allow, individual universities to, introduce what they feel that will help in their catchment areas to work. For instance, before you engage somebody to come to the university to teach your students, the rules stipulate that you should have a master's degree. And you cannot go, beyond that, because you are not setting the regulations. The regulation has been set and handed over to you. So it is a bit, difficult for universities to go out of their way to establish those collaborations, even when the people you want to collaborate with are very reluctant to collaborate with you. Now, we talked of our professionals in diaspora. The business condition here is not conducive. If you come from diaspora to start something here, in less than 2 years, you will be frustrated out. I could remember before DSTV becomes a widespread, something in Nigeria, one man from Ogidi came back from the US and started Metro Digital Satellite TV. He invested money, and before you know it, both political consideration and all manner of things, he just had to abandon everything and went back to the United States. So it is the environmental condition to do business here, the rigid curriculum, and the mindset of the people you want to collaborate with makes the thing very difficult for that collaboration. If you stay outside, you think that people have not done enough. But if you have the information, you see that it is not really, that the universities do not want to do that. But, some people will say that the hands are tied to do things you really want to do. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Igbo Basics. Let's go to Revolution now. You're next.
Good evening, sir. Good evening to everybody. Brother, the thing, you ended your last question with where mine will come in. And normally people look at me as somebody who is not serious. But this thing that I want to ask you today has been bugging me for many years. Suddenly I woke up today, I say, doctor, don't bring another professor. Make if you could give me chance, make I ask him. Because it's directed to people like you. Sorry.
Okay. No, not.
Yeah, we said something now that anytime you people reach where una go talk through, una go say your hands are tied. So that is why I say no. That is why I say I go ask this question, because make I no waste time. You see, when we were growing up, they say make we go school. Say now people will go school pass fit survive, and it's true, because when you reach that professorship as una reach now, you will find out now they control Nigeria in some ways. You understand me? Because any position will matter. Now they go give unto, for example, our elections. Sorry, I'm deviating from the topic of today. I know saying AI they talk about, but I just want to ask you this question, because this AI they talk about. So if the system where they ground no strong, go work. We go just they hear like how we always they hear so many things. Poor man no go fit enjoy them. Not only these big people. So my question now is, say, why is it that to become a professor in Nigeria, you have to be compromised? You know what I mean? Because last election, where P2B win, now professor, like one of you now, where if nobody will compromise that, way may cause they suffer today. Is it a criteria, say, if you go school where you go to always the compromise? Now that's short question. Thank you. Because now they cause trouble for Nigeria.
Let me quickly answer that. In Abia state election that brought, is it
Alexoti.
It was also a professor that stood her ground that the right thing must be done. Having said that, it is, that of election is a personal thing. My personal argument about that is, if Nigeria wants a credible election, they should tell ASU as a body to bring credible people to conduct election. Now, when individuals go to be part of election because of what they will get there, it becomes a different thing altogether. I was in a position to know that when you go for, all these elections, I don't know other countries, I'm talking about Nigeria, you see that people, get people and label them professors and use them to achieve their, dubious end. While the masses will be saying this person is a professor. You now ask, professor from which university?
But they used to call their before I remember, I still get that film. Anytime they want to talk, the time they want to give the result, they always tell you from which university they come from, the department where they teach. They talk them now. So are they lying?
At that point, when you say, a vice chancellor is a returning officer, all the groundwork and number mutilation and manipulations, have been done and a final sheet brought to him or her to read. He reads what he sees there. What happened in Abia was the professor insisted that he will see how these figures came to be. And when that came, he saw some cancellations and insisted until these cancellations are sorted out, he will not announce the result. That was, the figure there. So what we are saying is somehow depends on individual disposition. Some people are afraid for their life. Some people will say, I will do the right thing, even if I die. So it is that courage to do what is right that will make the difference. But when our hands are tied, you get it? When there are rules and regulations that you must follow, and if you don't follow it, by the time you hear that Professor Ndinechi, did this and did that, you will not agree that it is because he did something that is right, but outside the regulation. People will now just take it that, that person, don't mind him. But if you examine what he did, it is the right thing, but it is outside the regulation. So when you see the right thing and you cannot do it because it doesn't favor regulations, then you do the other one and you come up with the slang that my hands are tied.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have to quickly get to the rest of. I think we have 4 more people so that we can let the guests go. Uche, you're next.
Okay, am I coming clear? Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Na ikwe kelengi mbadoma and Isarudo mbadoma.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have to address you as a professor because it's not easy to reach that level. Mr. Rudolph, yesterday I couldn't finish my topic, but I know how it happens yesterday. I tried to come back, but you didn't bring me back. I don't know why. I tried to come back to finish my topic because yesterday I wanted to make very strong opinion yesterday, but
let's finish with this. Maybe the next stream you can continue from yesterday.
Okay. Because in the next 3 hours I have to move to work. Okay. So I have to say this because sometimes we are. Excuse me. No, this is not a laughing matter. Sometimes we are suffering in malaria. And some people are trying to push us in cancer. And we are going to suffer this with the youth that are heading to this future we are talking about. And it's not bad to have artificial AI or what do you call it. But when we are growing, our father tried to teach us to understand that artificial is artificial and natural is natural. And when I hear this artificial, I don't know whether there is any other way to explain it. Maybe it's not kind of artificial we think, but I understand that all the explanation and questions and response that we see here is artificial, and artificial is artificial. And I want to give an example if I ask my question, please. Now, when we come and look around this Europe, every country in Europe, now I'm speaking from Italy, they didn't accept this English. Speaking English, they did not accept it. They hold their language, they speak their language, and they move with it, and it's working for them. They are doing well. Likewise, Denmark, where I travel. Likewise, when I travel to Germany, when I travel to Malta, these people hold their language very strong. Before you understand they speak English, maybe you try to deep before you understand that they speak little English. Professor, please, with all due respect, you people should not make things too hard for us. Our brothers here have made some serious points here, and let me touch little a bit. And as I'm talking this, you understand where my question. Maybe you can pick up from there. Now, this AI will work with phone and laptop. My people in my village don't have light to charge their phone. They don't have light to charge their phone. They don't. When they pick laptop, the next thing we see police start harassing them of Yahoo. They're making the laptop to do Yahoo. How are they going to join this system of AI, this artificial AI? And when you see our politicians, we are talking of AI. Maybe in the next 2-3 years, it will be viral. It maybe take some space. They are campaigning to give us road, give us light, which since I was born till now, the same promise they are promising till today. And I want to say, you people like our brother that left now said, you people are in the position to discuss some matters in the government. We are suffering in malaria. You people should not be pushing us to suffer more cancer, because when you are trying to tidy us where our hand cannot lose, you keep on tidying our hands to be more. So how are we going to do this kind of a thing? Because when you talk of solar something you're building in your university, I'm from Imo State, and I have to tell you something. In our mama where I come from, and this is, you have understand my first question, and this second one is like a P. In our mama where I come from, I was speaking to my younger brother to my neighbor, not to direct to my mother, but a young one from my neighbor. And the next thing I heard, off NEPA. They're still shouting off NEPA. That means, since 3 days, they have never seen light. So, please, there's something I want to ask you. Maybe when you have opportunity or you make these petitions, you can help. Please, I want to make this request very important. There is some matters that I have never addressed in our mama from government in Imo State. They burned our shops in our mama. It was viral. It's in social media. Governor have never addressed this issue. This is one. They kill our youth, 14 youths that went to marriage. Ebubago and the security force, and they kill our 14 youths. It's never been addressed. There is no one road this new government has built in our mama. Look at our mama, look at our mama. This is one brother, like a neighbor. I call it Oru East. Please, if governor can do something to at least to appeal to our mama to clean our tears. The federal government is taking oil from our land, our mama, developing other places, while we are still in darkness.
All right.
You have sometimes, please help us to push this kind of matter to government. They should come and address this issue. And my question is that all this AI we are talking about now, we have no light, nothing to make up this gadget, phone, and all these things. MTN will charge you a kind of money. When you put 200 now before you close eyes, it has disappeared. How are we going to follow this issue of AI? It's bothering. It's something that tied our hands and our future. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, Ita.
Yes. So let me quickly, answer the one I can answer. The issue of countries making use of their language. Of course, you know that England, the word England is a German word for island. So England was a name given to them by Germany. And they came to colonize us and brought their English language. And well, our people accepted it as a means of communication. It is the same, our government, if they are really serious, they can do like China. Sometime 2010, I went to China. It was that they had to close their borders, suffered it, and came up with, their level of development, which now multiplies as a square law. If we as a country and most other African countries are serious, what they will do is close their borders and develop an indigenous technology. By the time they open their borders, they will be, also dishing these technologies to other countries. So it is having the political will to do what is right that is lacking, especially in Nigeria. If we have the political will to do what is right, we have the human resources, the intelligence to make Nigeria one of the best countries in the world. But we do not have the political will to do what is right. I will, stop at that. The other bordering on security or insecurity, I'm not a security operational to know exactly what to say about that. So that
please, I'm not talking much, but the reason why I told this insecurity of a thing or this problem in our woman, I heard when Dr. Rudolph asked you the question before. You said the government in Imo State, that like your view, they are doing well. They are not doing any well. They are not doing any well because
insecurity
all
in
these
Nigeria,
villages, government are not doing anything in all these villages. They are trying to.
Insecurity in Nigeria is not limited to Imo State. So,
thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Uche. Odumodu, I call I see you, but hold on, please. We have people who have not yet said anything. Odumodu, go ahead.
Thank you, Prof.
I'll come to you.
To have you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Raise your head up a little bit. Yeah. We can see you very well. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Prof. It's really refreshing to have you. I was wondering, I think the last speaker actually pointed out some of the things I wanted to say. Ab initio machine learning models they are data hungry and they need enormous powers, computing power, and supercomputing power to be able to train them. But in Nigeria, we do not have electricity. I think the president said that we cannot generate electricity to roast popcorn. So how do you overcome these challenges of power and also access to supercomputing resources?
All right, thank you, Odumodu.
Yeah, along the program, I made it clear that power supply has improved. Like I said, where I stay, I have more than 20 hours of power supply, public power supply a day. Maybe some places is still a bit down, but then we are looking at what is on ground that you must leverage on to be relevant. If you go to social media, you see that many people are now using this artificial intelligence to create quality content that they can earn, no matter how small it is, but they can earn something. So it has come. It is now left for people to develop it their own scale beyond certain level to be relevant. Yes, until we close our borders and force ourselves to develop. If we don't do that, foreign technologies must come in. And when they come in and you are not able to join in using them, you lose out as a person. For instance, when mobile phones came in, you see people that do not want to make use of it. When ATM machines started flooding so many places, you see people that don't want to use it. But then it got to the point that if you enter the bank to collect some money, they tell you that amount is too small for them to process. Go to ATM. So whether you are an old person or a young person, everybody was forced to go and learn how to use either mobile apps for their financial transactions or that's ATM. Some people that refuse to learn, when they get to ATM, they ask somebody, the person from there takes their PIN and tries to hack into the account. After some time, both old and young were forced to learn how to operate their financial transactions electronically. It is the same thing we are saying here, that if people do not latch in and become early users of this, it will get to the point they will be left behind. So,
all right.
that is it.
Thank you, Prof. So we have to round up quickly. I have 3 more people, and that's it. I'll get us to go. Prince Akwachi, you're next.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dr. Damages. Good afternoon, Professor Ndinechi. I believe it means, if I know my Igbo well, it means people who coronate, who cannot coronate, that kind of a thing. But we are not here for coronation, so we'll leave it for another day. But you deserve it anyways. I'm gonna go, quickly to certain things. First and foremost, is it not comical that somebody like Okwebolo will come up here and say that elites takes it upon themselves to think that illiterates cannot do what an elite can do? It's so laughable, because when you talk about that, you talk about, government shouldn't be in the business of creating companies or creating whatever it is, but rather they should be the ones to create enabling environment and infrastructure. Telling us that you want lithium to be used, to be produced in Nigeria and all that, a lot of things goes into it. Do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the power? Talk about electricity first. Let the gas be harnessed to produce power, and then we can talk about manufacturing lithium or whatever it is that you want to talk about. My quick question to Prof. Prof, you said something about AI not giving blessings, and I want to tell you, I can surprise you that I'm in the field of mental health. And what we do is that 24 hours we're on, because patients and clients, or whatever you want to refer them to, are supposed to reach out to us within 24 hours and all that stuff. And you see that it entails therapy. Like like you said earlier, the AI learns from other places, other things, and other kind of a thing, in order to offer that offer that therapy to the person, not us, but we are able to monitor that. So in the real sense, yes, they can bless, they can go spiritual anyways, and tell you that in the future you have money. in the future you'll be well. You know, if you follow due directions and due prescriptions. My question is this: how come the universities do not have a way of fundraising like they do over here? You know, like the alumni helping, or them going to, okay, say in the sense of FUTO, say FUTO going to is it Innocent or this guy that manufactures a car? Innocent, yes, right?
Innocent.
And now, yes, and how kind of like have some kind of contract with him, in the sense that the university can be used to develop new things in, you know, since he's in the business of building cars and all that kind of a thing. And in the, you know, in the process, him will help in funding the research and all that kind of a thing. So
All
that's my simple question to you.
Yeah, I've mentioned something like that before now, that the mindset of our people is also part of the problem, because universities really reach out. But I said, yeah, I don't have to mention names, but I'll be forced to, you know, mention one, that we have, you know, students of telecommunications engineering that even MTN will not allow to come and do industrial attachment. Then you now start thinking of when MTN will now want to probably collaborate with a professor like me in telecommunications that may even, you know, be more knowledgeable in what they do. So it is the mindset that is really problem. You get it? And if you get to him, for instance, he will also be suspicious of, why is this person coming? Why is this person coming? And he may not want to do anything with you. We have also reached out to some of them to, you know, come and endow a chair in certain areas. They will not come. We have reached out to some by giving them honorary doctorate degree, so that to make them belong and part with some of their fund to, they will come and very happily, you know, collect the award, honorary doctorate degree award, and disappear. So the mindset is, you know, part of the problem.
All right, thank you, Prince Akwachi. Let's go to Okija and Okija.
Good day, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Prof. Ndinechi, welcome. Nice to meet you. I think I've heard some things about you before, but I have an observation before I ask my question. First of all, I wrote something, an article a long time ago, and Dr. Moe, who's an authority in Igbo, you know, then wrote an article, and then he mentioned what I said. I used the word an umbrellian in my writing. So he said that, you know, we are Igbo people, we are Igbo, Igbo people, that means Igbo people. So he said something like a Nobias, there's something like a Nobias, Ndi Nobi. It's supposed to be Ndi Nobi, I'm from Okija, we are Ndi Okija, not Okijans. So, you know, like, even as you propagate AI, also propagate correct Igbo, Ndi Nobi, not Nobians. That's first. Second one, university is a place where they train you know, people who become everything in the world, including investigators, people who know how to use the web and stuff like that. I mean, you know, it's mystifying that you people went through the process of whatever the people before you, they went through the process of investigating Pantami, and they didn't know that he was a terrorist, and they approved his appointment as a professor at your university. So it's mind blowing that the university didn't catch that. So because it was online long time ago, before whatever, I don't know how. I mean, even before you guys are approved, it was known already that he was a terrorist. So you guys could have stopped it, just like you made mention of bishop. But then in the past, if a bishop came, a Catholic priest, he found out that the priest impregnated one woman yesterday, he would not give ordain the priest. So that's another observation. Okay, to my question, because you people kind of Rudolph, you kind of what's his name? Our guy, he's always changing his name, Ovie. So I think what Ovie said, is relevant. Maybe because this is not a place for us to discuss. Because I'm trying. What are we trying to AI in Nigeria? What are we trying to AI in Nigeria? Okay, look at our economy. Look at Nigeria as a whole. We have electricity, and then when rain falls, wire will fall down. They will take light. Like look at our people, young people looking for job. Women, what kind of job? Young women, ask them what kind of job do they have? Nail tech, lash tech, what is fashion. What has it got to do with AI? You look at young people, young men. What do they do? Bet Niger, Yahoo. What are we trying to AI in Nigeria? Okay, look at where do we have industry? Communication. How many people do they MMT and Co? How many people do they employ? Dangote, with refineries or whatever, or the petrochemical. How many people do they employ? Where do banking? How many people do they employ? You find that the vast majority of Nigeria just out there. How do they use AI? We have content creators, like we have our women, people who shake us on TikTok. So what are we trying to AI in Nigeria? We have to go back, we don't have an economy, we don't have anything. Okay, like you see some sponsors, like there was a time I was trying to help someone get sponsors, for a show in Nigeria. Where are we looking at? Just MTN, just the telecom and the bank. That's the only place we can get sponsors, because there's nothing. Someone was talking about Ebonyi State. He said that apart from pure water factories and mining, there is no manufacturing company in Ebonyi State. To give you an answer, in Ebonyi State. Okay, so what we are doing, like I was looking at a company in Netherlands. They were producing about 10,000 packs of food. Like bento, like all those Japan, I don't know, I think bento they call it or whatever. They produced about 10,000. They implemented AI, robots and AI, whatever, and they started producing 500,000 a day. I mean, so I think our economy, what we have right now, because we didn't, key into the industrial revolution, and what we're going to happen is that the West, when they implement automation, AI, automation, producing things, that we will just be, like buying for them. Because I mean, what are we going to do? How do we key in when we have missed the first period? And also, because I was talking to a friend of mine. He's a professor at one of the universities in Anambra State. So, and they were talking about I saw one thing he advertised. They were trying to do, get into e-vehicle. I was like, I called him. I said, why e-vehicle? Where do you have a competitive advantage? Can you compete with Elon Musk? Can you compete with Toyota and other companies? Why not just go into IT? Making your university an IT hub in maybe in the southeast, instead of trying to do what you can't compete. You don't have money, you don't have resources to compete with these people. We have to go where you have a comparative advantage. So I'm still confused. And maybe it's a discussion. Maybe one day you come back to just be a discussion, not all these are of asking you questions about other things. We just have a discussion. How do we key in? What is happening, because in US, in US, they have so many software companies. They have so many processes and automation that can be, they can use AI to do. But in Nigeria, we don't have.
All right, thank you.
Let me quickly come in.
Go ahead. All right, our guest, his internet has been doing well for almost 3 hours. We are about 8 minutes away from 3 hours. While we wait for him, if you can hear me, Professor Ndinechi, just you can join us again, log off, join us again. While we do that, let me bring up Ikolola to say something. He's been raising his hand.
Let me quickly. Let me quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
Let me respond to the previous person, the Okija, Okija.
Yeah.
So, sir, you see, we have comparative advantage in agriculture. If we deploy this AI in agriculture alone, it will give us massive lead over other countries because we have the natural resources, land, to go into massive agriculture. And AI will help us to automate that agriculture and have high yields that we will not be able to consume. Then we'll be forced to export it and earn foreign exchange. So some people, have misplaced priority. For instance, people going into, autonomous vehicle design in Nigeria. You can't even test it. So to me, it is a pure waste. But we have areas we can deploy this, and we have competitive advantage. That is my take on that. If we do not, other countries, other developed countries, we leverage on that. Like I said here, Gary comes from Ghana, from China. It is wrong. Even our government can, decide that importation cannot come in, place high duty on it so that, if you want to eat the Gary from China, it becomes very expensive for you to protect local produce. The problem is the willpower on the part of government to do what is right. So those of us in the field cannot just sit back and lose hope and wait till. So we have to continue to move with time. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let me get Ikolola. What do you want to say? Just a minute, because the last person is.
I won't say more than a minute. I think I want to help Professor and you, Dr. Rudolph, here. I think the mistake everybody is making with this AI is they are seeing the finished product. The basic reason for this technology is to solve man-age-old problem of predicting the future. And every area of human life has this problem of trying to predict the best way to do things. So everybody that is coming here and saying, oh, look back at resources, look back at, you are going back to trying to go back to using hoe in agriculture. It doesn't make any sense. What you have to do now is where you are and look at for the technology to predict the best way to achieve the best out of yourself. So I think the mistake everybody is making is they think AI is about major technology, finished technologies like riding in the air or driving cars or no. The basic component of AI is to predict, and that is why it needs a large data set. So I think this is what we, please correct me, Professor, if I'm wrong. This is what we need to make the audience understand, because I think what the mistake everybody is making is seeing it as a finished product of maybe robots and all that. No, the basic component of AI is to predict the future.
All right.
Is AI a spirit? AI is not
Quickly,
spirit. It's a product. So why can't we
I
get the product?
I made it clear that artificial intelligence refers to, machines mimicking human beings to think, learn, and act autonomously. After it learns, it thinks and acts on its own autonomously without human being controlling it again. I made that definition along the line, so that if you give it wrong wrong data, it will not be able to give you the right thing. It gives you the wrong thing. So it is, machine learning, patterns, taking cues from data you supply and bringing out something that may be even difficult for human beings to bring out using human intelligence. So,
All right, thank you so much, Prof. Innovate is the last person we have. You have the last question. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Damages. Thank you, Professor. Hope you can hear me.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah, first of all, Professor, I want to thank you for making yourself available to discuss this very important topic, especially in the concept of Nigeria as a country. Ikola, thank you for your last statement. Because most of us, we see AI as something that's already been manufactured or something else, I don't know. Before now, even Professor laid a background, how we move from what the concept of neural, rather fuzzy logic, then we enter what we call the expert system, then you talked about the artificial neural network. AI has been in existence for years. There's one of the algorithms they use in the field of machine learning, talk about the support vector machine, was developed in the 1954 or so. Go dating back to history, talking about Deep Blue, developed by IBM for playing of game chess. AI has been in existence. Just as over time, training this AI model or working on this AI has been an issue because of it consumes light and it requires heavy machine to train and many others. So with the recent advancement in technology, training AI has become more easier. And in addition to that, there was not enough data over time, for AI to generalize and many others. So in today's world, we now have different companies building data centers in order for us to foster this AI technology. In addition to that, AI is not just a black box. AI is just mathematics, you and I know. Are you getting me? Now you talk about recommendation system. Let me give you an example. You buy something on Amazon. You have friends on Facebook and all of that. If you buy any product, it will recommend similar product to you. You use that concept of recommendation system. What does it use? If you in your 100 level or whatever thing you did, there's a mathematical cosine similarity. You use the concept of dot products. When you multiply two vectors together, how do this thing relate to each other? You will also remember in your secondary school that what we call the distance between 2 points. Well, if you want to cluster this thing together, are you getting my point? These are technology they use. Now, when you are designing an AI system, that will call Markov chain. If you want to make your AI to work well perfectly, you use the concept of Markov chain. Then if you go back to the area where we talk about calculus, the YDS that you and I know in secondary school is what we use in training AI model. That what we call forward propagation and backward propagation. Because some of us just come online, we just feel say AI is just something else. It's something we don't know how to develop and all of that. Go back to Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia developed what we call Alarm. It's an AI model, that is trained on their own language to understand what they do and all of that. We can also replicate that in our own concept, where we can even train an AI model to understand Pidgin English, to understand the own language, to understand Yoruba, so that we can harness this model together to, for people to transact. Now, going back, let me go back. Just a minute. Professor, the only question I have for you is this. Our university system, that is where I have problem with. Because Nigeria university system, they just base education based on final grade. Most of us, we study in Nigeria, we also came to the Western world to study. See, knowledge is in, maybe through assignment, through all those stuff. But in Nigeria, what they just do, they only base your final grade on your result, first class, second class. It's not just only about that. I just want you to help me go back to Nigeria university for them to enhance their curriculum. See, there are some courses, if you're in the Western world, there are some courses I took here in America. I did not do exam. Some of the professor will even take you, say, okay, go and do the exam at home. So my point is that universities should not just base their curriculum based on exam and all of that. We should try as much as we can to enhance student learning, collaboration, and also work with the government. And I don't know, no enough time because Dr. Rudolph have already, put all the bell. But Professor, once again, thank you for your good job.
All right, Prof, before you answer, let me add this question on the comment section. Is from another Ndinechi Chibo. He couldn't join us because his internet, he tried several times. So he wanted to know, question one is, what's the difference between AI and Google? Two is, can AI solve the problems that artisans and the like will solve? So we can answer them together.
Okay, quickly, before I forget these ones, AI cannot solve problems of artisans. AI is a tool that will help them to solve their problems better and easier, faster. AI is a tool. Then the first one, the difference, you see, AI is machine learning. This machine can learn, there are ones that's called the large language models, virtual assistants. It can come and learn Igbo language. The pattern no be people used to speak Igbo language, and bring out the salient points that no other Igbo person will know other than somebody from Nobi. Many people don't know that such things exist, but a machine can be trained. When it sees the pattern, it now bases on it to, put things together and say that this man must be from Nobi based on so many things. Why Google is, I'm looking for Rudolph.
A search engine.
It will go to and crawl through the waves and see anything about Rudolph Okonkwo. It breaks it out. You can call it also another machine learning because you have, trained that machine to crawl. So two of them are not the same thing. Get it? Now, the question from Innovate is that I made it clear here that in one of my, recent public lecture, that our curriculum is deficient, that we need to quickly review curriculum. If I have the sole power, I will initiate it tomorrow for curriculum to be reviewed. But what you said in the Western world, I'm sure in most of your classes, you have probably 20 to 30 students. In the Nigerian classes, in some we have more than 200 people with minimal facilities. So it becomes like, mass production. For you to be relevant after, graduating from Nigerian university in the undergraduate level, you yourself as a person have to build yourself. If you don't do that, I bet you when you come out, you be like you didn't even go anywhere. That is why only very few makes it after graduation, irrespective of the class of degree they are coming out with. So it is, very necessary that policies will change, must change for us to be better. For now, we are, as a country, establishing universities in every corner. In Imo State alone, I think we have 4 universities. The idea, to the best of my knowledge, is not to produce quality human resources, but just to be on record that everybody is given access to acquire university education. That is part of the problem. When you have in a state 4 universities, 3 state universities, and 1 federal university, all churning out, graduates, and there are no requisite facilities for these graduates to, be ready for the job market immediately after graduation. So people will have to develop themselves, and that is why we are talking about, this. If we have opportunity, we will also,
All right. I could say that his internet did well today.
The fear face, the fear face.
Maybe because
you see, now because that internet now imported products. Why we no build our internet?
Hey, okay. We'll get to this.
Somebody goes to internet now, no be product, now spirit.
Is it my network that is going off?
Okay, hold on. He's back. Yeah. Wait. Okay, hold on. Yeah, he's back. Okay, round up, Prof, your thoughts and yeah, finish up.
Okay, so I think I've answered that part of the problem here is that we admit so much people, and there is no personalized reach between teachers and lecturers and their students, because in a lecture level you have 250 students. It becomes difficult for you to have personalized contacts with your students. So at the end of the day, most graduate and go out. Only individuals amongst them that develop themselves, makes it in life. Others become just that they pass through the university. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We don't have time for those that just joined now. We will take a break. When we come back, the Prof will now leave. When we come back, we will review, and then there will be a second show where there will be extensive time to review what happened here. Professor Ndinechi, thank you so much for joining us. We will invite you again at a different time and have a wider course.
So is it my network that is misbehaving?
Yeah, it's your network. Yeah.
Is it my network that is misbehaving?
Yeah, it's your network.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. But it went well. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And like I said, we will invite you at a different time and continue the conversation, because AI, whether we like it or not, is here to stay, and it's going to impact us, whether OVA wants to go and dig the uranium and start from there to figure out how to find it. All right. I'll see you guys. Take care.
Thanks.
Okay.
So
Good.
it was like, what they say is going to be, why are you going to pay
Who
50K
is
or
that?
100K? That type of, I don't know.
Can you
When
unmute?
you are attendant, you can fill the form. That A for A, B for B. You can fill everything there. So why are you going to pay?
Doctor, is it you? Don't worry. Is it
It's AI. It's not AI. It's support diaspora voting. All right. Thank you so much. I was trying to figure out who that was. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this afternoon. I hope you enjoy the conversation with Professor Michael Ndinechi. We try on this program to bring different viewpoints to talk about different issues, not just politics. And that's what we did today. And I know that a lot of people, there are a few people who came in late. We couldn't keep him longer than that time. So that was why I couldn't bring you in to weigh in. I see 2 Nigers, 1 brain, and somebody else, diaspora voting too. All right. But let me just point out that next Sunday, we are going to have as our guest Pastor Ezekiel Dachoma from Plateau State. Most of you have seen videos of what has been going on in Plateau State. He's been going about talking to the media about the genocide going on in his state. So he will join us on Sunday to tell us his viewpoint from Plateau, because sometimes we talk about this in abstract, but there are people who are actually in those places where these things are happening. So we'll hear from him next Sunday. All right, let me bring in if diaspora voting is around, and then Ovie, we can try to see if somebody can help Ovie out. He needs help. 2 Nigers, 1 brain cell. Welcome.
How you doing? Hello, everybody. Femi, of course, my man OVE, and the rest of you. I can't. Is that Kulata? Next to.
Don't worry. Now let me matter. The rest.
Right. Sorry. So, yeah. Okay. What I wanted to ask the professor, right, and I don't know if anybody asked it, was, Rudolph. First, do you know the professor is from the United States, like studied here, then went back to Nigeria, or?
No. I don't think. I think he went to the UK. He did part of his studies in the UK, not here.
He did part of his studies in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's familiar with the West, which is what I wanted to be sure about. So what I wanted to ask him was, because I keep seeing everybody espousing all these great things about AI and the opportunities it would present for people in the future. But what I didn't hear, again, I was in and out, was the negativities that could come out of AI, especially if it's unregulated. So I wanted to ask him if he had any worries, and this is something else I'll pose to the rest of us on here. Does anybody really have any worries about the potential of AI to be abused, especially by the government and the people in charge of our daily lives? Because when you hear statements like Oracle's Larry Ellison, where he said, if they have a camera, they meaning the people that control the world, if they had a camera in front of everybody's face, I'm paraphrasing here, that they had a camera in front of every citizen's face, most of us will be on our best behavior. Now, you take that into consideration and look at what is coming out of China, where in certain provinces you have to earn social credit. And if you violate that, then there will be ramifications and consequences. Then you look at what is happening here in the United States and even in England, where the government is doing a lot of data mining and trying to use it as a means of controlling the citizens. I just wanted to ask him if he had any kind of, wariness, like this, if he's worried about the implications of AI being unregulated and in the hands of the government.
Yeah. Can I provide an answer?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So and I know you and I have actually spoken about Palantir, for example, and you already know about those what's it called? This facial recognition thing that brought up a lot of brouhaha the other time, and I know they're still trying to perfect it in their own words. That seem to have some kind of display some kind of bias against black and brown people, especially because it wasn't perfect enough. Of course, there's a lot of misinformation that's already been around even prior to, again, like someone Innovate said earlier, AI has always been around in some form or shape. It's just that it's now going to a more alarming level, if you will. So yes, you're right. In fact, I don't know if you're aware of some. It's a recent information I learned from this. She's a very popular immigration lawyer out of New York. I think McBean. I don't know if you know her. She was talking about how they're beginning to. There's a recent tool, and trust me, these things has always been around for as long as what kind of tools have always been around. It's just that a lot of things are beginning to come to the fore. Now that tool, what they aim to use it for, is going to go beyond just the regular things that you and I can even imagine in terms of privacy. And I always tell even Americans, you think you've always been, just regular Americans, not those that migrated here, but irrespective, you think that you've always had privacy is a big lie. So what that tool is meant to do is to try to scrape the internet, to scrape, go beyond what another background check, for example, would do without you and I's knowledge to even get into your phone. Actually, that's the one that's the most recent one that the DHS now has. It's a powerful tool. I think I read about it on NPR recently. So those are the kind of things. And of course, when it comes to even facial recognition, like it's been done in Gaza, whether one likes it or not, that's part of what Palantir deployed to Ghana and to Gaza. So it's things like that that make it very, very scary. And speaking about whether there will be regulations when it comes to Nigeria, I don't even think we're at the level where we can even regulate things that are not AI, not to talk of things that are AI, because we're just not serious. Even considering the fact that, I mean, I don't know if it may shock anybody, but Nigeria has some of the top AI talents in the world. There's a lot of Nigerians that are top AI talents. But does it even matter when we're not able to deploy them to our countries? After all, there's this guy called Silas Adekunle. I don't know if anybody's aware of him. He's one of the top AI robotics guys in the world. I think he tried to collaborate. He's been trying to do some things when it comes even to the field of AI. And I know you asked about the negative effects, but I mean, I just couldn't help but mention his name. But yeah, definitely I think about these things. But just like Rudolph highlighted previously, when the atomic bomb, one of the fathers of the atomic bomb, or maybe the main character, as the case may be, because it claims that even the Russians were actually the originators of the atomic bomb. Anyway, after he realized the how much humans seem to be tending towards the negative when it came to atomic bomb, he wrote an op-ed, and he died a very sad man. And it's the same for almost any technology you can think of. It's really scary, to be honest, because when it comes to privacy and all the dangerous things that it can be used for, it's alarming. I mean, of course, just to end with, even when you look at the war, the proxy war between the Europeans and the US versus Russia. You remember when you had the other weekend when some drones were sent en masse? A lot of what was used with those drones were AI. So it's really scary. But I don't think we can't even regulate elections. Not AI. We're serious.
All right, thank you. We know there's a show coming up where KJ will host an after show where you will have time to discuss this extensively. So we should wait for that. But let me hear from Ikolola Okija. I will get back over here and see what over here we round up with.
Okay.
Ikolola,
thank you again, Dr. Rudolph. I just want to answer to Niger's question. You see, the danger of technology has always been there. It's just that people are now getting to grasp with it. Take, for instance, your credit score. The credit score always takes where you live. It just doesn't take maybe you're paying back. It always takes your location into consideration. So if the government of the day decides that some part of the location shouldn't be given credit, or probably some name, or probably some feature they want to put in place. It happens. And you see that location never gets out of poverty. It's not that they're not hardworking, it's not that they're not doing their best, but they have no line of credit. And secondly, so that is by the way. And there's another thing that most governments are trying to do now, which is called facial recognition. And what everybody's fighting against is governments are saying, if we take the database of everyone, say in a particular location, and then we use criminals' features, facial features, to be able to predict, and like I said, what many people don't realize about AI is that they think it's one finished product. AI could just be an algorithm. So now, say you take a facial recognition of criminals, and then you take a facial recognition of everybody, and you want to predict who would be a criminal in the future. So if someone is born who has never offended in his life, and then the only unfortunate thing that happened to him is to have the facial feature of a former criminal. You see, he's in the wrong. He started on the very wrong path in life. So these are the dangers. So we should stop looking at the far-fetched. What you're seeing is some people have enhanced this thing. Okay, let me give you an instance of this drone and these driverless cars. They cannot work without data. It's just the basic that has been enhanced to a very high level. So the data tells the car where the ramp is, where the road stops, so all those sensors have to be there. The drone flies because it knows the path, and the path has been mapped for it in terms of longitude and latitude. All you're talking about is data. So let's not see AI as that far-fetched rocket science. No, it's you sitting right there and writing an algorithm that can predict what time you come in, what time you go out, and be able to, sorry, go on, please.
Well, I don't think you're really answering. I've been aware of, we're trained in Palantir since like 2007. So I think in a way I'm coming from a personal, without speaking, but you're not answering. What I'm saying is, aren't you worried about the potential intrusion into the privacy of people's lives? Like you mentioned something now, if someone was to be born with the physical structure or the facial structure of a known criminal or someone that's already in the algorithm, and you said, well, that means they started off wrong in life, which it shouldn't be if you don't try to predict possible crime. You can't just accuse someone and say, well, you're probably going to be a criminal. It's either you are a criminal or you're not. Because if you start predicting it, I think what this will lead to is, especially saying in a society that is run and based on race like the United States, it will lead to abuse where if you decide to, like Femi just said, where the AI will misjudge people or put the wrong people in black people. Let's just stop kicking the can down the road. Black people, brown people, as opposed to white people, are more likely to be indicted by this machine, this new technology, which I think should be a fear that everybody should have. It's not about the cars and how it will make jobs easier. I'm just talking about if it is not regulated, aren't people scared that it'll be abused by the authorities and the government against people they don't like? Like the credit thing you just said. You in this place, we don't like you, no credit line for you, you're coming up and born into poverty. You get what I'm saying? So I think
this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm telling you, that the people who should regulate it are the people who are trying to use it against the masses. That's the example I'm giving to you.
Okay, so we're saying the same thing, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it's the fear is there, and the fear is there not because it's in the future. It's already happening. That's why I gave you the example of the credit score.
All right. Thank you so much. I'm sharing the link to the next stream, which is starting as soon as we end this one. So you can have it, and if you want to join that, there will be time for more extensive conversation around it, the dangers, the fear, and everything. Okija, you're next.
Okay. I listened to Innovate and also so comment made by people, the comment section. It's not that the AI, you have to implement AI where you have something. AI is a process, which helps with processing and automation. For example, Innovate says something about you bought something on Amazon and then it recommends the same thing to your friend. But if you don't have Amazon, where would you implement the AI? So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we still have to build. For instance, if you have to automate processes in help use AI to automate processes in a factory, you have to have the factory ready first. If government offices, they have to use AI to do certain things, they have to have computers already. You can't just you can't implement AI in the air. You have to implement it. You have something ready to implement it. In electricity, you have to have generation and all those things going on. Then you implement AI to help distribution, bill and all those things. So that's why I'm saying that we have a whole lot of people in the industry, Nigerians in the industry, who are they know what they are doing, but it cannot be just done like that. You have to have structures where you can just implement the AI to work for people. So, but right now in Nigeria, we don't have the structure. We have few factories, we have few companies, we have few things are coordinated. There are a lot of government companies. I mean, a lot of government agencies. They don't have computers. They still carry papers. You see some of the court records we get here, we post online. You look at it, you see that somebody produced in the 1970s court records, but you see court records here in the US. You see how different, styled differently. They still have to wait for judges to stamp and do things like that. So those are things that you have to have structure, then implement AI on top of it.
All right, thank you, Okija. Innovate.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rudolph. Just to answer part of the question Okija raised is that's why we need government input to give Nigerians and the Nigeria as a country whole enabling environment and to have a good educational system and many others. In terms of regulation and all of that, I think governments are doing enough. That they are doing, maybe it's not enough in terms of a regulation and all of that. But more importantly, whether we like it or not, AI is already here. The only way out is for us to get involved. AI is not just only for engineers that build AI. Lawyers, they need the input of lawyers, the input of maybe physicians, clinicians, and many others to build this AI because it uses data. And if this data is not, how will I put it, distributed, like is not be representative in terms of the general population, black, whatever religion and all of that, it definitely come and hurt you as a person or as an individual, as a country. So more importantly, we must get involved. That in my own way. And it's not a black box. It's something you and I have already been doing before, just that we don't know how to put A and B together to get C. That has been the problem we have been facing over time.
All right, thank you. VA.
Okay, to those people who missed my point, and I'm glad that a lot of people understand what I'm talking about. You see, we get caught up in arguing about finishing products. Just once finishing product. That's why I said again, I will use that example. Oil was discovered in Nigeria in the 50s. Up to today, now only one tangible aspect of that crude oil now with the refinery, which is the refinery. Thousands and hundreds of other products that can be get from crude oil. We don't even know. How do you think a nation get industrialized? Just as AI is just one product that can come out of lithium, cobalt, and every other resources that we are bound. Maybe other things that we are talking about here. It's a finishing product. Why do we enjoy consuming finishing products? And we're sure when somebody tweet, one president tweet, your country go to shake. We are so comfortable. That's why Mayor Angelo said it's very difficult for you to liberate people from people who are comfortable in their zone. Just look at all of us. Everything that makes us who we are is foreign. Internet is also just one product, just like AI from that. Today, if they switch internet off, because it's a product, not be spirit. That's what we don't understand. Now, person build internet. If they switch it off, how long it will take before Lagos, Port Harcourt, Calabar will go into riot? So nobody is arguing about the product. Can we be the pioneer of that product? Can I sit down in my village knowing that the share that I have in the plant in Port Harcourt is bringing in money? Must I go and read to be engineer and work for other people? This is how this life works. Everything that we see with our eye, now product, now human being build down. Ask yourself, how many will I build? Because that's how you remain relevant in this world. Trump saying they come bomb us, everybody they shake. You know why? Because everything that we get, the material things that make us who we are, they are not just from them. We also invested there. I understand that we are conquered. I understand that we've been enslaved. But if we don't know that we are still slaves, how do we get out of it? Hey, an average Nigerian, they save money and go take buy Mercedes. That's not how it's supposed to be. So if our forefathers make that mistake, why are we going the same route? When they discover oil, now Chevron and Texaco go straight. If we are mining lithium in Kaduna, why can't we send it to Awka to turn to the next level? Why can't we send it to Maiduguri? Why do we have to send it to Beijing? Why do we have to send it to Silicon Valley? Now, two heads they get. It is because we are so comfortable. We think we don't arrive, especially those who don't travel to come from Nigeria. We think we have arrived. We are in shit. When they come internet, see the prognose on Nigeria because we are frustrated. We think we are something when we left. When we come this year, we are nothing. So maybe they think, as in from the first principle, why are we the way we are? Now something they make us, they move around. What is that? We cannot even feed ourselves after almost 200 years of agricultural revolution. Somebody will say AI will contribute to our agriculture. When big machine they do, you never feed yourself. Now when somebody go to another place, the remote, and now you go feed yourself. Another argument say we like beer, like that. Where are we going? The people who are they follow, they know where they go. They are just being adventurous. They are experimenting. That's the same right we get to be adventurous and be experimenting. The Saudi Arabia no gets the resources that we get. But what they have, they make sure they set it as a collateral. When Trump lead the whole United States, go there. Because of what? Now money they go collect. And anybody, if you don't get the blame. So when people say, oh, I am a healthcare provider. They born you as an healthcare provider. No be learn you learn now. Why you not feel learn?
I don't really understand your point. I don't understand. You are just making the whole conversation. I don't understand. What are you saying?
Innovate. Let him finish.
That's the beauty of life. If everybody they reason like you, the world will be boring. So you don't have to understand me. But the next person understand, that's what matters. So I am speaking to your comfort zone. That's why you're so uncomfortable. Because if it takes me and you to go Nigeria today and get it done, and that's what it's going to take, will we do it? No. That's why because that is what it's going to take. All hands on deck. We have to get dirty. But before you get gold, now from dirty, we just sit down with the way for the finished gold as if we are so rich. No, that's why all this innovation that we argue about, how many of us will afford that when the time comes? Only 20%. And just because you are fortunate to be among the 20%, you think the world won't stop there. No! Think about the many people who, after each and each innovation, is plunging them to poverty and misery every day.
Everybody run come off a village because of electricity, because of one small job, and forget about the villages. But guess what? Those that understand what is in that village, know the value of it, they are coming. So it's not about understanding. I'm just speaking to the reality, how why we did where we did. We could not convert our raw material to a finishing good in our own house and sell it how we want it and build it how we want it.
Okay, thank you.
You think in Saudi Arabia, they are happy that everything in the chop is coming from outside? They are not. Because now only slave now go they happy say everything when you get now give them, they give them. Because that person when they give you something, don't set standard. You can never grow beyond that. After 60 years, our GDP now 200 million and we think 300 billion until we don't arrive. A budget that they will feed homeless people for America. How did America get to where they are? They produce something for it. The Chinese today are another clinical example. They say, bring all your resources, we go convert them. Why are they so special? But now we they consume. But the point is that not be all of us get that the same privilege. So before you they analyze the advantages and disadvantages of AI, think about the next person that will not get used to that for the next 40 years. After they don't discover anything again. Every discovery is from us, come from our resources. That is my pain. Why are we so happy shipping them out raw?
All right, okay.
AI na product where it come from our own, but they bring and come give us. We they argue how we go take use them. Anybody who know if user is an illiterate. But that's the next thing.
Okay, thank you. Let me conclude this way. Hopefully it will come out good. I was happy to bring an engineer to the show today and to have this conversation. In engineering, the only thing I learned from that field, and I was in school for 5 years, is that our job as engineers is to make things easier. And what we learn, if you're in engineering school, you start from the basic science. And basic science, you build on it. And that's what engineers they've been doing. You build on what you learn and how to utilize what we know today, add to that knowledge to come to the next level. And at the beginning of this show, I talked about what we missed. And they teach that to us, the Industrial Revolution. We missed it. And we've been pretending that we can move on without it. Okay, that's what we've been doing in Africa, pretending that we can move on and go to information age and move on without it. But you can design the best app today. But when it comes to producing physical things, you will discover that you don't have that basic. But the situation is worse in Nigeria, not in other African countries, because other African countries, they've been able to overcome what we complain about here every day: electricity, roads. There are countries in Africa that are not, maybe they don't have roads like Congo, but the ones they have, they are good, but they don't have a lot. But our own is that we don't have the basic things. The only country in Africa that I've gone to is Kenya. And I went there with charger and with all these power banks and everything. There was no need for that. They have water at home. I didn't see tanker everywhere on top of every building. The point is that what we complain about is not something that Black people have not been able to overcome. They've done it. They're not white people running the water system in Kenya, in Nairobi. They are Kenyans. Their power is 24 hours. They are Kenyans running it. So you should just accept that Nigeria failed, not that Black people failed, or not that we can't.
I ain't talking about Black people. I'm talking about Nigeria.
Oh, I know. I'm just addressing you, but I've had that on this platform. Black people this, Black people that. The fact that you failed in Nigeria doesn't mean that Black people cannot do it. Okay. So that's the first point. So what I think is this: what they did in China, and it came up during the conversation here. I had people say, I think it's a guest, Professor, saying that we should lock up Nigeria the way China did for 30 years and went through their revolution. And China stole technology from other parts of the world and used it to advance. But they have the foundation. We still don't have the foundation. You can steal any technology from America today. Go and find me a factory that will produce it for you. You don't have it. So I want us to understand what is going on. What is going on is not that we don't have the brain. It's not that we don't have the personality, people that can do it. No, it's not that Black people have not done it. It's a failure of the structure of the country. So once we know that when he said, the guy said, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. What he's saying is what they teach you in engineering. They give you the basic, tell you how we got to where we are. This is where science is today. It may not be where you live. At FUTO, we have machines that you can use to make anything you want to make. It's not in Newi or most places. That's why they can't make certain things. But we have it there, the prototype for university students. But we don't have it, and we don't have people making it in Nigeria. So if we need it, or if something goes wrong in that machine, we have to go outside and import it to fix it. So that's where we have to begin, because no matter what you do with tech, high tech, if you want to build a fan, you still need to have a machine that will build it. High tech will not build it. If you want to build anything, you have to get a machine, a phone, a cell phone.
Well, Doctor, do you know why our government failed, or why the structure failed?
Well, there's a new book I mentioned, but I didn't talk a lot about that, which is about the people who are running the government. When you have someone like Ababio, let me tell you this, let me just reveal this. Most people don't know this, that most of our politicians, and I've been around them, like you stay with them for 24 hours, just follow a governor for 24 hours. And if they allow you to see where they are thinking and what they are talking about, you see that they don't talk about how to develop your state or Nigeria.
But Dr. Dameji, thank God that you know these individuals. Nobody will produce them. Are they not from us?
Please finish your thoughts.
Let me finish. So they are not. They don't spend time. We think about Nigeria more than these people. What they think about most of their time is, how do we corner this money? There's money here. My girlfriend, my children, this is what they spend their time thinking about. So why would they succeed? Why will Ababio?
Where do they come from?
Wait. Why will Ababio? When Ababio leaves that Senate chambers, for example, he has to deal with all the allegations and crises that he's facing, and all the people, all the scandals. He's not thinking about how to pass laws that will make Nigeria better. That's not what they are thinking about.
But they are Nigerians. Now we produce them now.
No, we produce them, but we are electing the worst of us. In China, that's what I'll find the book. I'll find the book and present it next week. In China, they said that somebody did a study and found out that why China is advancing more than any country in the world is that the people running China are engineers, people who make things. Their goal is, how do we make things? In America, it's the lawyers that are running things. And in law, it's not about how to make things. It's about what do we, impediments. How do we stop this or find loopholes for some people? And that's why things are not moving here anymore. They said that what they built here in the 60s, they can't build it again anymore. It's difficult because there's so many laws, environmental laws, and lawyers, and they are deciding things. So we have to look into all these things and find a way forward. It's not that we can't do it. We can do it. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. We have advantages. What technology is doing now is that what you needed 10 people to do, now one person can do it using technology. What you needed 10,000 people, maybe 10 people will do it using technology. So we have a chance to start again, but we have to be serious. We have to cover what we missed and then move faster than others. But we haven't even started the rest. We are still fighting over small things, primitive things,
Rudolph, let's pretend you're the president. What would you do to be able to?
I have no political ambition. I have no interest.
No, let's just pretend. You're the president of Dr. Damage's Republic.
And you are complaining about Akpabio.
No. Wrong question. No, wrong question.
Wait. No, I can answer it.
Advisor.
No. I can answer it. Not that I can answer it. Okay. When they talk to this guy that won the election in mayor of New York, the first advice they gave him, which is what they should give anybody who finds himself in that position, even if you don't want it, is to get the right people. When people said that if you have the right people around you, and we know who the right people, but they are not going to appoint them, they are not going to bring them around them because they will tell them what they don't want to hear. There's no way Tinubu will bring the right people around him. Tinubu wants to cover his back, he has some goals, and he will bring the people that will fulfill that goal. And he went to Lagos and brought the people that worked with him and understood him, that he knew they won't reveal things about him that would, that's how it works. So they are not going to succeed.
Democracy.
So, but what I will do if I see myself in that place, I will look for people, and we all agree that in Nigeria we have, in and outside Nigeria, we have the best. We have people who can make things happen, who can make it work. You bring them, and the other thing that it's not just about bringing them. There's something that Obasanjo did well, that not everything, he did some things well that other leaders didn't do well, even Jonathan. Obasanjo will protect you to get something accomplished if he believes in that thing and he knows that it will help the country. Jonathan could not protect his people, even when he gets the right people to do the right thing. He couldn't. He was afraid, and they shake him and he would change his position. So you have to not just pick the right people, you have to protect them, because Nigeria is a tough place. The professor said something about somebody who came to invest in Nigeria and failed and left. There's a danger that people don't see. You can go there with the right idea, you land there, you see that you don't have the critical mass who are thinking like you, and your idea will die with you because you won't be able to find enough people to push it through. Remember, people will oppose you. The fact that you're coming from outside, you are going to be opposed, no matter how good the idea you have. People will sabotage you. If you don't have the right protection, right people around you, you'll fail, no matter how good the idea is. So we need to think that way and understand the impediments. It's not easy. I'm not saying that leadership is easy, but we don't actually have people who are willing to lead. All right, I gotta go. Thank you, everybody. And next Sunday, we are going to have this pastor join us on the show. I appreciate all of you. Let me thank those that supported us there. People, it's very important that we recognize them. Without them, we can't do this. The Black Beauty became a YouTube member. You can actually be a YouTube member and support us with $1, $2, $10, anything you can afford every month. This is the best way. If we know we are going to get $50 a month, we can say, you know what, let's hire somebody and pay him $50 to do this for us. And we have a lot of things we have in mind of doing, but we can't do it until we are sure we can do that. Israel, thank you so much for your support. Igbo Basics, thank you so much for your support. Oscar Blackbone, thank you so much for your support. I thank everybody that joined us today. Those on the comment section, I appreciate all of you. Ovie, thank you so much for being here. Let's see, hold on, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Innovates, thank you so much for being here. Okija, thank you so much. Ekolola, thank you. Support diaspora voting. I didn't hear from you. You didn't say anything. Thank you so much for being here.
Did you ask my opinion?
Please, Dr. Damages, Dr. Damages.
Yeah.
Dr. Damages, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say some of us that do support Dr. Damages, like what he just said now. I mean, we don't have like option to do flowers here, because he was just articulating, just saying all the right things. We should be giving him flowers here. But we don't have option for flowers. So the only thing we can do is to just support. I appreciate what you do. I did my Zelle, so I'm trying to tell people that using YouTube to do all this, to support him, it takes some of that YouTube. They take commission, and the money comes back less. So try to use Zelle. Whenever I want to do my support, I use Zelle. Just if you live in the US, you can use Cash App. I can use Zelle to support Dr. Damages, because I personally, because I do some work for him. I know this is difficult. Sometimes he will call me, like, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? And I try to do them, and it's difficult. So we appreciate if you come here all the time. Try to do some support. Try to do Zelle. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Okija. That's very important. I've mentioned this here, but we're happy to get anything from anybody through any means. But Zelle is better, because YouTube will take 30% of anything you send through YouTube. But anyone that people feel comfortable about, we appreciate that. All right, those on the comment section, those that watch at home, thank you so much. And we will bring you another interesting guest next week. Oh, already we have one. The pastor that you guys have seen on video talking about the killings in Plateau said he's going to join us next week. All right, thank you and all the best. Bye-bye.
tó fẹ́ kú torí ẹ̀ o. Ọwọ́ ẹni ló ti ṣàánú kọ́. Ayé la fi sílẹ̀ sí. Lọ́nà èyí yóò.
Thank you so much for watching. Thank you. Have you subscribed? Yes, you. Have you subscribed? You. Yeah, before you go, click. It's free. Click. Just that's it. Have you subscribed? You are laughing. Have you subscribed? Have you subscribed? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, madam. Thank you so much. I can see you. We have to get to 100,000 subscribers. This by the end of the year. How are we going to do that if you don't subscribe? Yes, you. Yes, you're about to click off. Why? Have you subscribed? It's free. If you don't, ask your son, ask your daughter how to. Just one click. Thank you. I see you. Aha. Thank you very much.